Are you in the market for an apocalypse vehicle? Then come by the Dix Division Prepper Warehouse today. We have many treaded models to suit any terrain, but if you're planning on staying in town, we have that covered too. Great for the farm and the luxury garage. Dix Division Prepper Warehouse has exactly what you need. Open late Mondays and Thursdays on Comix Division's channel.
Is it wrong that I laughed really, really hard when I watched the ending of She-Hulk? I mean, like, I laughed like a lot. The fact that those spoilers were like legit 100% true, I was like, my God, that yes, they really are this fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Well, hey, dude, they trolled you. How do you feel?
Oh, no, there was no troll, dude. There was absolutely zero troll. I just think it's funny the fact that the writers are just that fucking stupid.
Well, they're challenged. That's a strong word. Comics is stupid.
Oh no, they're fucking stupid. I would use a stronger word, retarded. But
oh wow, welcome everybody.
Yeah, welcome. Hello.
Yeah.
How are you?
Toodles. Oh wait,
I didn't bother messing with the camera tonight. Sorry, guys.
Oh,
as I was telling these fine folks on the panel, I was like, it was a mad dash to get up to the studio because I was neck deep in the freeze dryer, pulling stuff out and getting a new batch of stuff in. So, oh my. Anyway, hi Culture. How are you?
I'm great. I watched She-Hulk.
Yes,
and I realized that anything that I produce is going to be amazing compared to that.
Do you feel stupider after watching it?
No, I feel like all of my content is easily consumable.
Yes.
That's what I feel. Stupid or no, I have like a sort of like a barrier that I put up to the stupidity. So I feel like, I should start selling it. It's like the Sizzling screen, if you've heard of that. It's kind of like
Sizzling. But it's been a long time since I've heard Sizzling.
There you go.
That's not around anymore.
Yeah.
That's not bacon. That's Sizzling.
Sizzling. What the heck? It's kind of like the egg whites. So everyone's, we can't use the cholesterol in the yolks. We have to use the egg whites because they're better for you. And then 20 years later, we were completely wrong.
Yes.
We went the other direction. The yolks were the thing that helped your heart. So over this 20 years, they've caused more cholesterol because of the egg whites.
I just use regular eggs.
The science was settled. I mean,
science was settled. That's right. That's right.
And you gotta trust the science.
I mean, because who comes up with that stuff? Because if you're the egg council, does it really matter? Right? You're just trying to sell eggs.
Here's the problem.
Well, I think part of it is so they can charge a premium.
Well, but at the same time, they also created a food hazard situation because during the separation process, that's another process. And the more times you process a food, the more likely you are to introduce issues. And so when the machines are separating egg whites, there can become problems, folks.
You know, it's just use normal regular eggs you buy from the store, or if you have chickens, get them from your chickens. Just eat the eggs,
and they have
or ducks.
Yeah. I mean, look, they come in their own unique container, right? And unless
hermetically sealed.
Yeah, indeed. And it's actually the shell's actually semi-permeable, but not in. It's only. Anyway, we'll get into that another time. But regardless, they're perfectly fine. They store for a while before you have to refrigerate them to store them longer. I mean, eggs are basically perfect. And if you have your own chickens and you float them ahead of time, or you try to float them, or you water dunk them, then you know whether or not they're good or not, and you're good.
What are you doing to your chickens?
No, not the chickens, the eggs.
Oh, okay. I was like, I just see the memes of Culture Casino waterboarding his chickens.
Oh my God! They already have one of me.
Produce the eggs.
They already have one of me holding one of the cocks. So what do you want?
What do you
Culture
mean
Casino.
One of
if an
cocks?
egg can fit in there, why can't I?
Oh, that's
Dear
awesome.
God, no!
Oh my God, the cock.
Hi, Brahma. How are you?
Good. How are you guys? Yeah.
Doing good. Doing good.
Had a good evening last night. Went to the Avs opener and got me my own little Stanley Cup champion banner that they were handing out to everybody, and we beat the crap out of the Blackhawks. So
Wow.
I'm
That
happy
sounds
today.
racist.
Yeah.
I told you it'd be like 5 goals.
Yep, 5-2.
Dude,
There you go.
Okay, so for preseason hockey and an over under, and I'm not giving you gambling advice, but on an over under, you should take the over. Like if you were like talking to somebody like in a bar or something. The first 2 to 3 weeks of the regular season, that's also true because like nobody's up to snuff on their defense or their goalkeeping yet. So just that's normally and I'm not giving any advice at all whatsoever. So.
The over is usually pretty safe in hockey throughout the year, but I'm not giving advice either.
No,
Depends on which team it is, but
yeah,
We've cut a lot of the stuff that helps the defense.
and just like the Avalanche, you treated your banner with respect. It only has 30 wrinkles in it. Good Lord.
yeah, I just took it out of the bag a few minutes ago. It was folded up in a bag. That's how they handed them to us.
Yeah.
It was
Like,
probably
it was free.
thrown in some kind of
So,
black
be-
tote
before-
too.
Before we get to talks, there's something I want to show you guys. Apparently, Kamala Harris would
Is
like
an
to
idiot.
come on yelling at parked cars. Check this out right here. Comix Division, hey, it's your girl Kamala here. If you're looking for a guest on Yelling at Parked Cars show or the other one, Thursday night, Throwdown, I would like to
Throwdown, yeah.
I'm a good current events, especially international, although haven't been to Europe.
Wow.
Which one of us does she
Wow.
think is Willie Brown?
I don't know.
Oh,
I don't know.
wow.
Probably one of the bald ones.
Yeah.
You know, she's never been south of the border, so I don't get the whole throating thing.
Oh, no.
Anyway, that was provided by Digital Remnant. Thank you. That was hilarious.
Thank you, Digital Remnant.
Yeah.
We have the best memers. You guys in the Legion have been crushing it for weeks now. So thank you. You're killing it. Killing it.
Simple comics.
Oh, I can't wait. Can't wait.
Oh, dude. The one about the Almond Joy was pretty fucking funny.
Yeah, the Almond Joy one was good. There's a couple of memes I did tonight. Almond Joy.
I saw a few of them, but I don't know. I mean,
What?
just based off kind of my reaction or the reaction from my Almond Joy post is like Almond Joy gay code or something.
I got news for you, comics. Almond Joy means you're gay. Apparently.
Apparently.
I always thought it was just a damn candy bar. But
I thought it was just a damn candy bar too.
Iced
I
tea,
don't know.
baby.
I mean, what's not to like about chocolate,
Mhm.
coconut, and almonds? I mean, it just tastes good.
I don't know.
But yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm not a huge fan of coconut at all. But it's like that's like the only thing I'll eat that has coconut in it. So,
And that's it's a shredded coconut that's toasted, and then apparently it is massaged by 100 homosexuals in San Francisco before it is sent to Comix Division.
oh God,
So,
no!
yeah.
Don't even. Oh, gross! Now you've ruined it for me, buddy.
I'll
Would
do
you like to
that.
know where nougat comes from?
Yeah. Okay. I actually do know where nougat comes from.
It's bull's milk. It's bull's milk.
It's bull's milk. It is. It's whipped chocolate bull's milk.
Yeah.
Brought to you
Heavy
by
cream.
Kamala Harris and the jugs of Nancy Pelosi.
Indeed. Gross.
I know you can't say
Anyway,
I'm
what's
doing
up,
fine.
Sox? How you doing?
It was a day at work, but you know what? I'll take being busy over being bored. You were sliding in here at the end, and so was I. And apparently, we had a docking moment and clinked off. So there you go. Here we are. We're all
What's
fine.
happening right now?
I have no idea.
nothing.
Apparently, Tox is determined to make this really gay.
Well, that's our brand.
Well, no
No guest,
Our-
so let's go
our
full
fun-
bore.
In your case, it's full bowl, right?
Full
Yeah.
bull.
Full
Yeah, go full bull.
Okay,
Go
so
bulls deep.
this is from Release the McCracken. Oh my God, this is great. Ew, I stepped in shit.
Oh, they were killing it tonight.
Oh, you
Oh my God. Oh my God, that's fantastic. But he's not wrong.
What a
I
show!
mean,
What a
yeah,
show!
What a show, man. What a show.
What a show! You know what? I feel like there's some special moments coming up in the future. Right? You know, I do.
Were they trying to play 5 or 6D chess with us, with breaking not only the fourth wall, but breaking the fifth wall of streaming?
I don't know.
I don't know. because
I
they
start-
actually. All right, spoiler alerts, but I hate spoiler alerts, so just F you. Anyway.
this show was
We're the only
already
ones
rotten.
watching it.
Yeah, there's only like 6 of us watching. So
you can't spoil something that's rotten
in the
already.
middle of it, they're like, she's like, this ending, pretty much says, she says, this ending sucks. And then where are you going? So they're playing as if we're the person clicking out of She-Hulk's finale to watch something else. And then she comes busting through the stream to find the Kevin Feige thing to tell it to change the ending. Yeah. So they're making fun of the fact that the ending's formulaic.
It's funny.
She goes and meets the writers, and the writers are all idiots, and she basically tells them that. It's like, okay, so you're basically admitting you're
dumb,
right?
Yeah.
Before you even started,
your show sucks, and you're admitting that the MCU is formulaic. I mean, they at the end they started making fun of themselves, which I kind of have to give them credit for, because all those things they pointed out were true. I was right about the villain being an incel at the end. Yeah, it was.
Yes, 16-bit mascot. The leak was true.
It just
all
leaks.
of it.
Literally, legit, all the leaks that Jay covered yesterday, 100% true. Sorry,
feel like,
Culture, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, I feel like that's the moment we need that clip where it was all true, all of it.
Yeah,
that's
Harrison
what we
Ford,
needed.
Han Solo.
Yeah,
it was all
the
true.
one thing though, the one thing I kind of picked up at the end. Did you kind of get maybe like a not so subtle threat at the end of She-Hulk?
That they'll make another season?
No, yeah, that's a promise, buddy. That's a promise. I'm talking like a threat that they're going to go after the people.
Yes, that was the end. She's going up there. If you actually do something physically harm or harass, online or in person, then I'm coming after you. And then they go as She-Hulk or as a lawyer, and she goes both.
Okay, Taylor.
And then they asked her what she was wearing to court, and she scoffed at that and walked off.
Who's she wearing? Yeah.
Right.
And then
She's
they turned
wearing
Wong
My
into
Series
a
is
felon.
Shit by Chanel.
Then they turned Wong into a felon. So
hey, I'm sure that smells better than Elon Musk's burned hair fragrance. But
well, okay, I heard about the Wong thing. I didn't see it because I didn't bother sitting through the credits, and I honestly just don't give a shit. I did hear about that. But yeah, okay, so like I said, if you guys watch Jay's video, he lays out the show for you. All that happens from her basically being restrained to where she can't Hulk out, to her losing her apartment, her job, having to move in with her family, and then her quote unquote friends going to investigate Intelligentsia, which is run by Todd, the tech bro.
The tech bro.
Dude bro.
Yeah. And it turns out Todd stole, her blood, and he injects it into himself and becomes Hulk King. And Banner shows up, and they start fighting, and all the stupid. And this is the great part too. Is he even fucking what's her name? Titania, thank you. Shows up
for no reason.
No fucking reason at all. And yeah, it's bad. It's really bad.
Well, I started watching.
That's where she's like, basically, she breaks the fourth wall. People like, where they like click out of the stream allegedly. She basically goes and shows up at Disney, storms into the writer's room, basically demands that she rewrites the ending. And they're like, no, this is what Kevin wants. And then she goes to talk to Kevin, and Kevin's a robot. And so after providing a quote unquote convincing argument, Kevin goes and rewrites the ending. And so they take away Todd's powers as the Hulk King. And then
the whole blood storyline.
The whole blood storyline. Yeah, completely. So basically, at the very end of the show, they rewrite the entire season.
Which would mean that he didn't actually do anything the whole season.
Right.
So there was nothing that he would have been in trouble for either, because none of this happened. Well, because the whole show was the bloodline.
Yeah. And the thing on top of that, too, he keeps expecting her to hit him. So he's like closing his eyes, quivering, waiting to be punched. And of course, she doesn't punch him. She's like, I'll see you in court. It's like, for what? I mean, he didn't do anything. You basically erased the entire thing. The show is dumb. These people are stupid.
I started the episode with my usual piece of paper and pen, taking notes of things that I hate. And then, we get to that point where she breaks the fourth wall, and it's like, okay, good. I don't have to bring up any of these points because they already told us that the whole thing was stupid in the end of the show.
Well,
so at that point, there was no point in complaining about anything that happened before.
You're right. And look, it was funny because they obviously, we are all in their head.
Hulk has a son.
Oh yeah, but look who it is, folks.
Haircut.
Look who it is.
Who
Bobby
is
Hart released the McCracken has come in.
It's Comix Division.
That is Comix Division. Yes, that's a spoiler.
Oh, okay. It's kind of small on my screen, so I really can't tell.
Oh, sorry about that.
Okay.
Here.
So we're going to basically ruin Planet Hulk already before it even happens.
Yeah.
That's the Smokey Angry comics when he
God,
doesn't get his almond joy.
haircut is stupid.
What is up with that? Yeah.
They like shave the first half of his head and then have hair long hair.
Oh my God, it's so dumb.
And they did a really bad job with the hair on Ruffalo's Hulk, but I don't care because I really freaking hate that guy now. But anyway, it's they actually hate us so much that they did a self insert with the entire writer's room.
Yep.
Because we said they always do self insert, so they put them all in it. Yes.
Yeah. It was pretty funny. I mean, not for the reason that they're thinking.
No,
it's funny because they have no self-awareness and actually did it.
We continue to laugh at them.
Even the line about when Pug or whatever his name is infiltrating the intelligentsia, and he walks up and they're like, "You can't tell me that if She-Thor was a." It was a line like something we would typically be saying.
Oh yeah. They were definitely parodying.
I would hate this either way, whether this character was a guy or a girl, that kind of thing, because it's just badly written. And they were trying to, hit us on that one too. And it's like, no, that's kind of the thing. You're badly written. We don't, that's the problem here. I mean, She-Thor or whatever we called her in that stupid movie.
Lady Thor.
Yeah, if they had written it and it made sense at all, sure, we might have been okay with it. But the fact that they were trying to replace Thor with her for half of the movie was the problem. She was already better at being Thor than Thor.
Well, yeah, that's kind of the issue with the comic too. And
right,
I think I've said this a number of years ago. If they wanted to try to make Thor female, I think they could have done it way better, and they could have done it like, let's say, with how they did it with Donald Blake, where he had the cane and it was the hammer. And let's say, Thor has disappeared, whatever, something happens, and this chick stumbles upon the hammer or the staff or something like that, and then she wields it and turns into Thor, and the body's female, but it's male Thor in a female's body. And I think that'd be a far more interesting story to tell than Jane Foster becoming Thor.
Like Freaky Friday.
Yeah, like Freaky Friday. It's just the idea that somebody else found the hammer and then turns into Thor. But this time, because it's a female body, it's a female Thor, but it's actually Thor in a female's body. So it's not this like, she's taking his name bullshit. No, it's actually Thor.
His soul is deposited into a female.
Right. I think that could have been a far more interesting way of handling it, because you can take it from the quote unquote trans aspect of it, where it's a dude in a girl's body, but it's really a dude, and him trying to navigate the world as as a woman, but really a man. So I mean, there's some things I think that they could have done and had a lot of fun with it and make it kind of interesting.
Yeah, they missed that. This show was a giant missed opportunity, but I could say that about everything MCU since Endgame.
Yeah,
giant misandry.
Oh yeah, and the fact that I pointed this out in my review. If I was to make a show and just portrayed women either as gold digging bitches, nymphomaniacs, I had like a third one, but just all these like really negative stereotypes of depicting women, there would be so much outrage over it, right? But the fact that they do this to men, it's not a big deal. Nobody cares, right? Because it's men.
Right.
You can get away with misandry, but you can't get away with misogyny.
Well, it's funny because I'm not sure if it was on one of the Daily Wire shows or not, but apparently there was a lady who actually lived for 2 years as an experiment with men to write a book about it.
Mm-hmm.
She lived as a man, not that she was trans or anything, but a woman pretending to be a man. And she could only go 18 months because she began to hate women because of how difficult it was living as a man and how poorly men are treated. And then, of course, she recently self-deleted.
Oh, no, that's terrible.
Yeah. So, but it was an interesting story, and I'll find it somewhere. I'll find out where that came from. But it's like, I mean, the book's out there.
Yeah.
So I'm like very taken aback. I'm like, if people don't believe how beat up men are in society these days, then I don't know. I mean, men are number one in homeless.
Well, life is rough, right? And
yeah,
I think that's kind of the one thing that everybody needs to acknowledge is the fact that life is difficult. Bad things happen to good people. It's unfortunate.
Yeah.
And there definitely needs to be support systems out there to help people out, both male and female. The issue is, when it comes to men, is that you have all these support systems out there for women. And during that time period, it made a lot of sense because, back in like the 50s and 60s, it's, most women didn't work. It's different now. But for women who don't work and you don't have a means of income and you have children, you got to have a support system to help you, not be homeless, et cetera, et cetera. But for men, there's none of that. And they actually tried to open, I think it was like a male homeless shelter. And it was closed down. And the guy who he was harassed so vehemently, he self-deleted as a result of that.
Yeah. It's amazing. And again, I mean, I always try to point out the plight of men in modern society because, again, men outnumber women when it comes to homelessness by a factor of 2 to 1.
Well, that's the thing is like everybody has issues. Both men and women, we have our own separate issues, but nobody takes the issues of men seriously. And that's kind of the problem. It's like you said, men are incarcerated more than women. Men are far likely to be more homeless. Men are far more likely to commit suicide.
Yep. There's nowhere to go with it.
And that's kind of like that Piers Morgan interview with Jordan Peterson a couple weeks ago, where he's like, who stands up for, the men that are just being tossed aside in society? I mean, because the whole thing about incels and that being, a name that everybody likes to throw around now.
Well, I
Jordan
think
Peterson came to tears like, aren't we supposed to stand up for those that are, separated from society?
Yeah.
Figure out a way to bring them in.
Yeah.
Well, I think
it's that kind of thing.
I think the incel thing is slightly overblown. I think they, obviously there are men out there that, are single and maybe perpetually single. Yeah. I think some of them it's by choice. Some of them is because maybe they are undesirable, but it's the fact that men have to work on themselves and go and get a good job, be a productive member of society. Because there's guys out there I've seen that are not all that attractive, but they have attractive women sometimes too. And a lot of it comes down to confidence and, whether you have a job. And I think a lot of that stuff is perpetuated by what's going on with society, where it's like, it's okay to stay home and not do anything rather than go out and get a job.
Well,
and
the
term,
wow.
Go ahead. No, please go ahead.
Well, the term incel is starting to get like the term fascist and everything else. They
just
throw it around all the time.
We get called incels all the time.
We get called incels all the time.
And we're all married.
We're all married.
Well, I mean, the incel thing, all these words lose meaning, and they have to find another one. So the book I've sent to you guys that I'm reading, we're thinking about doing for the next book club, talks about fascism in the United States before and where it came from, and all of these different things, and definitions and stuff. And if you don't think about these things, if you don't read about these things and come up with your own critical decision about it, then we're going to lose as a society, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, and it comes down to when they say, okay, critical thinking is bad, just starting to talk about all this stuff. all of these things that we're seeing right now, cancel culture, people having their bank accounts cut off on them.
Oh yeah, like
the government and the DOJ going after people and arresting them and putting them in prison without any kind of due process. All happened before World War One at the hands of Woodrow Wilson's presidency and his cabinet. All this stuff has happened before. And there was Franklin Delano Roosevelt was a big fan of Mussolini and the fascist movement there. Huge. A lot of his speeches, they talk about that. These are the things they wash over because as you get farther and farther away from history, it's just easier to understand that he was the president 4 times for the first time ever, which he broke a precedent and not stepping down after the second one. Right. Everybody did that because of
well, it's like another thing that, you know, people like to cite Gandhi as like this great hero for what he did with India and think differently and all this stuff. I mean, he was actually literally used in Apple's marketing with Think Different. Yeah. But the thing that nobody talks about is he hated black people. Yeah. And you can go and find video of him talking about black people, and he is super racist.
Yeah.
But tying everything we've been talking about back to She-Hulk. Yeah. The thing is with this show is the problem that we see society where, you know, feminists, they just look at men and saying, you're privileged. You don't have any real problems. You're not oppressed. And my whole thing is like, yeah, you're right. Men in general are not oppressed. It's individuals that are oppressed. And
that's been the case always.
Yeah,
why are there
exactly.
More
that's
men
my
on
point.
Welfare.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, I don't get that.
It's one thing. It's like if it was balanced by showing like shitty men and shitty women, I'd be okay with that. Especially if they're trying to make a point or joke or something like that. But that's not what they were doing. The whole point of this show, literally, because I'm assuming all the writers are single. I know they're all women. But it's very apparent that they have issues with men and they hate men and they basically shit on men the entire series.
But
it's pathetic.
They showed 2 men in the writer's room, or 3.
Only one at the table. The other one got to stand by the chalkboard and just shake his head yes or no.
I don't know if all those were the actual writers. Or not,
I don't know either, but I know Jessica Gal was there.
Yeah,
of course.
Yeah.
Pickle Rick.
Rick.
Man, well, lots of traction out of that one thing.
They think that it goes back to the left can't meme, left, right, whatever. These people that are writing the show are actually fascist. So when you don't want a free market and you want the government to be in control of your life and to tell other people what to do, that is fascism and stuff in the American sense. So, and what I have an issue with is they're not smart enough to understand that.
No.
And we talked about Monday. I want somebody in politics that's smarter than me.
I
want somebody smarter than me writing my
entertainment. Yeah.
Which is why I like the Sherlock Holmes books, because Arthur Conan Doyle was smarter than I am. And he wrote some good books that I can't tell with a plot. Usual Suspects is another one. I couldn't tell the plot. Only Murders in the Building. There's a lot of issues with that show, but I couldn't tell what the plot was. Enjoy the ever-living heck out of it. Right?
Yeah.
So there's several shows and stuff around there that the writers are more clever than I am when it comes to this. And these people, seriously, you could have thrown darts at a board of letters and written something better than this.
I think that's kind of what the writer's room was showing in that scene.
I mean, exactly. It really did feel that way. I mean, it was absolutely awful. I mean, I like I said, I was laughing. I was laughing at the fact that those leaks were true. And it's like, yes, they really are this stupid. And that is hilarious. It's like, great job, Disney. I mean, this, for me, in a lot of ways, is the death nail to the MCU, to the point where I legit don't fucking care.
Yeah. Well, that, and it didn't help that they just pushed back the entire slate again.
Well, it makes me wonder if they push back the entire slate because they realize they need to fucking right the ship. because at this point, if this is what you got, Kevin Feige, the MCU is fucking dead. Oh my God.
Okay. All these entertainment companies are doing it again. This shit all snuck in the back door through HR departments. Nothing good ever comes through human resources, ever, and that's where all this shit started from. Because that's how you ended up with people, moving for these progressive ideals in human resources. This is how you ended up with the DIE crap, diversity, inclusion, equity crap. Equity. Yeah, and that all came in the back door through HR. And again, HR is never on the side of the employee.
Well, it goes back to what we talked about. It's like, back in 2015, 16, all these people were in college, and now it's 2022, and they're all running HR departments in their own business.
Yeah.
But another thing too, I'm trying to remember who actually brought this up. I don't remember if it was Critical Drinker or somebody else, but I mean, honestly, the thing that sucks about this is how bad it makes women writers look.
Oh yeah, they're terrible.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, there's plenty of great female writers out there.
I know.
But this thing, it's going to make women look really bad, and people are not going to hire them as a result of that, because it was like a all female writing team, and it's like that's great. You guys produced a bunch of garbage. Now a lot of these entertainment companies aren't going to take you guys serious anymore, and that is very unfortunate. Absolutely unfortunate.
Well, but we have a universe of great female writers. They're just not being employed for any of these purposes. You have incredible, novel writers that have been out there in the world that are female, that have written incredible stuff, things that you didn't see coming, like Tox was talking about, like Patricia Cornwell and Kellerman, Faye Kellerman, and so many others. They write incredible stuff that, sometimes you think you have the gist of it, but then you don't. And that's
Christie.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah.
Agatha Christie,
books. Yeah. And it's like, look, I mean, all of this stuff can be turned into films successfully and successfully adapted fairly easily, because if you just follow the broad points, it's still going to lead you to a wonderful end. I made the decision, not the decision, but the realization. I made the realization when I was watching this show this morning that they don't know how to write endings, and they never have a direction to begin with. I think it's spitballing all the way through. It's not. I don't think there's much of a plan, if any, when they go off here. And again, they once again used one of the favorite characters of men for a cheap fucking joke.
Yeah. One of the things is, like, a lot of the very prominent and pretty well renowned manga writers are female.
Yeah.
The writer of Full Metal Alchemist is a woman. The writer of Demon Slayer is a woman. And these are mangas that I highly recommend you read if you haven't done so already. And I feel that this is going to be a huge setback for female writers in Hollywood or in entertainment in general. Especially when it comes to comedy, because the trope is women aren't funny, and I would say
I don't think that
I'm not gonna say the majority of the time that's true. I mean, there's definitely some fucking hilarious women out there. Excuse me, I said Chrissy. Chrissy, not Christy. Chrissy Mayer being one of them. And oh god, Comic Girl 19, she's pretty funny.
Well, we again, I mean, it's. It always catches me off guard, because again, I was a big fan of a lot of variety shows. We were talking about one last night while we were, working through some stuff that we're producing in the future for all of you. And I'm like, well, Carol Burnett, Lucille Ball.
Oh God, she was hilarious.
I mean, consider this. These people were not only the people in front of the camera, they were writing this shit, right? Oh gosh, the chick in the Dick Van Dyke Show. I always forget her name, but a lot of those people. Mary Tyler Moore contributed script ideas and writing at times. So you're looking at all of these. You're looking at all of this, and it's like we stopped advancing and we regressed like 40 years in some of these areas, even though the rest of the world is like, what are you talking about?
Yep.
Yeah. Well, even more recently,
That's
I
who
don't
you were
like
talking
her.
about.
Rosemary, thank you.
Rosemary.
That's right.
She was a phenomenal writer that wrote a lot of
Incredible.
stuff and did some things for like Mel Brooks. And
Yeah.
there's female writing was writer was the core to what started Monty Python in the show that happened before that. Is something I was researching with that 70s rock fan. And but Carol Burnett show. Carol Burnett, Tim Conway, and Harvey Korman on the set together.
Oh God, it's gold.
All of them, just phenomenal. And some of the outtakes of what they did
Oh,
to each other to just try and crack each other up are some of the funniest memories that I have with my family. Is watching those things. There was some innuendo,
oh yeah,
but it was all clean.
yeah.
And
There was
stuff from there. Yeah,
Yeah.
just hilarious.
Hang on, I know Brahma, you were trying to say something.
Oh,
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just going to say more recent examples even. I don't necessarily like her, but Tina Fey did a great job
Oh,
with
yeah.
30 Rock.
Yeah, yeah.
There were
Yeah,
some
30 Rock
shows
was a
even
good
more
show.
recently
Yeah.
where it was a lead writer that was a woman. And
Well,
yeah,
and-
it wasn't the same type of crap that they're writing now. It was actually trying to be funny.
Well,
That's the difference there.
Rosanna Dana was the creation of her and one of the other writers on SNL, right?
Right.
You know, Gilda Radner came up
Gilda
with
Radner, God
Yeah.
rest her soul.
yeah, and then you have Sherry O'Terry. You had a lot of people at the time that were because back then at SNL you had to if you wanted to keep the gig, you had to be exceptional in one area or great in two areas. One being a cast member and being able to write. I mean, you had to come up with characters and stuff like that. Now you get subpar across the board, which is why whenever there's something funny that comes on like their news segment, that's about all they got anymore. They just it's just because they just aren't funny. But it's not that there are, and again, it's not that there aren't great female writers out there. It's just they're not employed by any of these entities.
A great, just a female entertainer all around, funny, can write, can sing, and sing Broadway level. Bernadette Peters.
Oh yeah,
Saw her on Broadway with Wicked. Oh my goodness. And they're just, it doesn't matter. The part, of course, was made for women, blah, blah, blah. But she's produced her own stuff.
Yeah.
On Broadway, and she's written plays and done all that. Talent is talent.
Yeah.
And it's getting the opportunity to write that stuff. One of the funniest people on the Carol Burnett show was Vicki Lawrence.
Oh God.
She
Think
could
about
make
her
Carol. She's the
career.
one person who could always make Carol and always make Tim Conway break up.
Oh,
Because that was the one they almost couldn't. From there, and it's the shows that they wrote and that they wrote together are classics, at least to me. And then they had the Tim Conway show offshoot. Harvey Korman had a couple of offshoot shows from there that were just hilarious. And you just don't have that kind of quality today. But I'm seeing that across the board. All right, in things that I see being developed in the IT world, in products that I see being developed here, there just isn't that level of competence. So these people, I think, are
trophies.
Yeah, I think they're doing the best they can. They're just not that good compared to what's come on before. I mean, there are so many great comedic bits been written by women on Saturday Night Live. Right? If they just let some of them go to write stuff, and they comedy's hard. Ask Chrissy.
Oh,
When
absolutely.
she was here talking, this is not easy. We try and write up some stuff that makes it to High School Musical level, or what did she say, Middle School Musical level?
Middle school.
Yeah, which was great. But it's not easy and takes a lot of time. There's a lot of rewrite, and there's so many good things that are left on the cutting room floor with comedy, timing and things. And that's why, stand up is not easy. Everybody thinks, I can be funny and you're good in a crowd. Then you go try stand up and freeze.
Oh no, yeah. I mean, this kind of environment's different than like stand up. I mean, people might find me funny or my bits, the videos I do funny. But I'm not a comedian. I can be funny, I guess. It's
Every
up to
time
you
I was
guys,
around you
honestly.
in Vegas, you made me laugh.
but
Oh, what?
at the end of the day, I know I'm not a comedian. There's no way I could fucking hack that.
Oh yeah, that's a rough life.
That is rough, and it's all about timing. Let me get to some comments real quick. Big Raj for 199 Canadian with a big thumbs up. How's it going, Big Raj?
Hey, what's up, Raj? Thanks for the support, man.
Let's see. Criticize Will the Rainbow Knight says, I'm literally an incel by definition, and I honestly been that way before it was cool.
Cool.
Well, the other thing too is that a lot of times that they want to wrap people up that are incels are ones that just aren't interested in dating.
Yeah, they made it. They made a choice. They looked at the equation. They looked at their wallet and said,
or they're just simply not interested, or they're not ready. I mean, there's a lot of factors that go into it. Yeah.
Nowadays, this is the problem.
But the whole point of that insult, sorry, culture, is to make you basically state that you're less than desirable. Sorry, culture, go ahead.
No, you're right. I mean, but that's the point. It's like, some people are making that choice. I mean, a lot of men, and people that, they tried to make fun of in this She-Hulk episode, have elected not to have relationships because they've been enabled through hookup culture to use the opportunity to,
There's that too.
Yeah, and that's destroyed relationships. And the problem is women don't see it that way, man. It's just the exchange for men is again not exactly the best situation in the world. But anyway, I'll stop interrupting.
I mean, there's that whole movement. I don't know if it's a YouTube movement or if it's a larger movement, but I'm aware of it on YouTube. The MGTOW movement, men go their own way.
MGTOW. Yeah.
So, but a lot of that, from what I've seen and read about it, is basically, take care of yourself till you're 35, 40, get everything in line. Women are going to start hitting the wall. And that's when, that's when you're supposed to make your move. You're not supposed to try to, get in there right at 18, 19 or 20 and settle your whole life there, which that's one way of thinking. I obviously did it a little bit different, but I prefer my way. But that is a movement that is out there that kind of encourages that to a degree.
It does, but also historically speaking, that's how it's always kind of been, though. Yeah. Is that unless like you were a peasant, working a farm, most people will go out there. And I mean, I'm talking like Middle Ages here, but this is like honestly all kind of throughout history. You would have to go and establish yourself, whether you're establish yourself as a hunter, you have to establish yourself for the ability to go and provide for a family.
Leave your father's house.
Leave your father's house. It's the same thing with modern society where it's like go out, getting a job and being able to provide for a woman and take care of her. Because that's the thing, biologically speaking, or anthropologically speaking, I should say, women look for security. They want someone who's going to be able to take care of them when they're pregnant because they're vulnerable during that time period. And that is a very kind of, that's a human trait that is just there. And of course, pointing that out, people want to call you sexist, but that is like legit how women are wired. Men are wired a certain way too. And we see it actively in our society right now, trying to work against that wiring.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Well, it's in general.
And again, this is, on average, not always.
Yeah. Right.
There's definitely some very type A women out there that want to go and bring home the bacon. That's perfectly fine. But
anthropologically speaking, though, and you would know, that's exactly how we're wired. And trying to rewire society with social engineering isn't going to work. You're going to end up with a generation or two of young ladies that are going to grow old and be very unsatisfied with where they are.
Well, you already seen it. It's like the woman who wrote Sex and the City didn't have kids, and she's very she's very unhappy with herself and basically what she basically pushed young women into with Sex and the City. Let me get back to comments. So Nintendo,
I've got a lot I could say on it, but we'd go way too deep and it's not the right stream for it.
Right. Nintendo 69 says, was this She-Hulk fourth wall break a foreshadowing for Deadpool joining the MCU? I mean, I'm not really sure how to interpret that. I'm guessing no.
Deadpool was already fourth wall breaking.
Yeah, I mean, he was already fourth wall breaking. But if it's this kind of fourth wall breaking, I hope not.
That's gimmicky and stupid, and it will age very, very poorly in a Deadpool movie.
Brandon,
some of the things already do. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, that was my fault. I thought you were done. Misinterpreted the draw of the cigarette.
breath.
It was the elegance that trapped me. Now, Brandon Morris had written an article a couple of weeks back about will the MCU, will Marvel screw up all the goodwill that Ryan Reynolds is bringing over with Deadpool? Because if there's one person that knows how to market stuff and knows how to be in on the joke on camera with everything he does, it's Ryan Reynolds. He's got his own phone service. He's got his own gin. He and Hugh Jackman, who are probably really good friends, have had this feud back and forth that has driven traffic to both of their sites and doing all that. And there's the famous Robert Downey Jr. going and donning the Iron Man suit that they happened to have when he was done filming, because a kid said, "Oh, I was hoping Iron Man would be there," and he went back and he did that. He spent an hour putting all that stuff together for the kid. That kind of stuff has turned into "fuck you, buy my product," and you're just they don't understand whether they have had the experience or not. They don't understand. They haven't been taught those things.
No.
In school, they haven't been taught those things in college. I was taught to question everything.
Oh yeah, same here.
Right, and they're not taught to question. So the whole Rage Against the Machine is now Rage for the Machine.
Yeah.
It really has turned into that.
Yeah.
For that kind of stuff, and it's like,
Well,
I feel for them, and I can understand why we got this She-Hulk.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that I'm gonna like it just because you said I had to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I can't see how you would greenlight a second season with the dwindling audience, with the terrible reception, et cetera, et cetera. But
It would already be a reboot because nothing happened.
Yeah, you know what? That's and we said that throughout the whole series. Nothing happened. What was the point of the show? And where are they going with this? And how come they don't understand all of these other issues around it? And
I mean, they tried to make fun of us. And
But yeah, they tried.
by us, I'm not lumping myself in the same as Critical Drinker, who had a phenomenal She-Hulk review earlier this week.
Yeah.
Or Gary, or any of those that have looked at this show and said real problems that they have with it.
Truly dissected it.
Yeah, or Doomcock, who was actually in the damn show. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm saying, just because you put two of them up there, it's not a hockey mask you painted. You did that on purpose. We got it.
Mm-hmm.
And they think that hurts us, and they don't get the fact that it shows we've already defeated them.
Well, it's like that one meme I was telling you guys about, where it's like the guy that pisses his pants and everyone's laughing at him, and then he crosses his arms and goes, "I'm in their head." It's like, no, okay, and that's what they're trying to say, that that's us. The guy that pissed his pants is us. It's like, no, that's Disney.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, we are in their heads.
Yeah,
at this point, if another MCU movie never came out again, I would be fine.
Yeah, they've destroyed their brand.
Yeah, it's run into the ground.
Outside of Spider-Man, right? And maybe this Deadpool thing.
Just give it time. They'll probably ruin those two.
Spider-Man.
Yep.
But really, even without the horrible writing and everything, they were going to cause burnout sooner or later with the frantic release pace that they've been doing on these things. So,
absolutely.
One way or another, this was coming to an end pretty quick.
Yeah.
But they even made fun
hastened it.
Guys, let me get through some rest of these comments real quick. Sorry, let me just put a pin in it real quick. Southern Bill says, but it's activist women writers comics. Comics other women writers get disregarded. You are absolutely 100% correct, because it's all about the right politics. Talks from Influ for $5. Read my super chat comics. Oh wait, I forgot to send it.
Oops.
Eric K for $5. Comics can be funny, very true. We were at the urinal and he made me burst up laughing.
Bust up laughing.
Yeah, as I fucking slide out of that. I don't even remember that. Oh,
I think he
okay.
was
It's a small
making a
dick
joke.
joke.
It's a small dick
Yes.
joke. I get it now.
Yeah, it was a rinky dink joke.
Yeah. Not me, but from the Toxic Man Flu over on the Odyssey side. For $5, Division Ranch Money Grab number 34, the Comix Division Urinal Cake Eating Contest. Even when you're the winner, you lose.
Oh,
Tastes a bit salty.
Well, we're on.
So I figured out
bathrooms.
if I can. Sorry, I figured out if I can copy the supers from
one to the
Odyssey, I can
Odyssey.
chat them as you,
Yeah.
and they show up in there, and then
Way
we
to
can
ruin
highlight
the
them.
joke. That's what I do.
My favorite, like, you know, in the men's restrooms, there's often some writing directly in front of the urinal, and some of the shadier, like, you know, truck stops and everything. Favorite one I ever read said, "This is not a joke. The joke is in your hand."
That's good.
It was great.
In
good.
Vegas, they just have posters for like the shows you could see.
Yeah.
So anyway, Culture, I'm sorry, I cut you off. What was the point you were trying to get to?
Oh, I was just going to mention that, you know, they even like confirmed that they suck at CGI, and it's for a reason, because it's expensive and they don't give their people enough time.
Well, they made it like so the joke that Culture's referring to is that when she's talking to Kevin, basically they can't have her transform back in the gym because they've run out of money, so they have to cut away from her, and then she's back to, you know, the gen form. And it's just like, oh my god, that's awful.
Meanwhile, they've got a big CGI Keurig machine playing Kevin.
Yeah.
It's not even Kevin Feige. It's literally a Keurig machine looking thing
K-E-V-I.
floating in the air.
I felt like it was a ripoff of like lots of other better robots, like,
Yeah.
you know, Hal and what was, oh gosh, what the one of the guys from the MST 3K.
Right.
Oh
You
yeah,
know,
I don't
Tom
remember
Servo?
those, but
yeah,
and then
the one that was a gumball machine.
yeah, and then they
Yeah, that's
slapped
Tom Servo.
and then they
Tom Servo.
slapped a hat on it. I'm like, this is just stupid.
was anybody surprised that Feige greenlit them basically tearing him a new one about
No.
how bad everything is?
No. Remember, Gao came out with that interview right towards the beginning when this shit launched, saying that she got to yell him, slap him around.
Right.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was a very much her making it out like she was emasculating him. Not sure if that was Hollywood Reporter or Variety, but it was one of them.
Yeah, I remember it.
That's interesting.
I had forgotten it, but I remember it now.
Sorry, I just read a lot of stuff.
Oh,
Well, I mean, it's good to know.
6 minutes of stuff every morning.
you got to think there's only so much he can do, right? So Kevin Feige is the guy painting the floor, and he started at the door. Doesn't matter where he goes, he's painted himself into a corner.
Mm-hmm.
He can't. He's the only one there. He is so powerful. He has all the money. He has all that stuff, but he can't do anything. He probably can't really fire anybody. Not any women.
You know, or any minority or any protected community.
Yeah, and especially out there in California, because he's got enough money. They'll go after him personally. He'll lose. So what power does he really have? It's all fake.
I don't know, man. That's a good question.
Power to move on. At this point, he takes any gig.
Honestly, I
starts over.
think the biggest issue right now with the MCU is they had a stopping point, which was Endgame, and I really think they should have taken like a year or two off before doing anything. But as we all know, this is where the message comes in. It's been slowly making its way into the MCU, and obviously with Phase 4, they went full bore. And that's kind of the issue. It's like, and we got crap. All these movies that have come out in Phase 4, with the exception of the Spider-Man movie, Spider-Man has done very poorly and is just completely terrible. I mean, Eternals was a tragedy. Oh my god, that movie's awful.
Well, and with the overt introduction of sexual circumstances, not the subtle romance and things like that we had seen, I would call it not Phase 4, but Phase Horror, based on especially this last television program. So I'm like, you guys are focused on sex and sexuality, and it doesn't matter what your target audience is. That's all you're pushing.
Well, there's definitely, I would say, a sense of sexuality to She-Hulk, or sensuality. Sure.
Yeah, there always has
sexiness.
Been.
Yeah, there was, always has been, as you said.
Yeah.
And if they actually did that version of She-Hulk, and actually made it
Party
funny,
girl?
like how John Byrne was.
Yeah, Party Girl She-Hulk.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you don't have to go full Party Girl
No.
She-Hulk, but it's like, they could have made it campy and funny and still have her be a superhero. That's like my biggest complaint about this show. And honestly, that's kind of how it is with all these shows, is the fact that you have these quote unquote superheroes that are not being superheroes, right? And that's like the whole thing with Jenna Walter. It's the balance between her being a superhero and being a lawyer.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
What character are they bringing into the movies? Because like we've said, there's no development to the She-Hulk character. They've already announced she's going to be in at least one movie.
I don't know.
I don't see what they're bringing.
Said they weren't going to. She wasn't going to be in a movie at the end.
Yeah, and that scene
They've announced it.
Room.
I'm so confused.
Did they actually announce it? Because I saw something floating around Twitter, and I don't think it's official, but it says the new Avengers, where it shows Falcon Cap and like all the female characters that have been introduced as the Avengers, like Riri Williams.
She's supposed to be
Thor.
in Captain America, right?
Yeah, I thought the X-Men. Wasn't she supposed to be in that?
I think Culture knows the answer.
No. I was going to say that entire exchange was very interesting to me, because there were a lot of things that essentially were, they stuck a pin in those balloons. Like when can we expect a new X-Man was a question that was answered during in the Matrix room, right, with all the stuff going, because that's what it was to me. It's like, she's meeting with the architect, right? They completely stole Matrix. Most people probably see that, but all the screens around and the whole 9 yards, they were stealing the architect scene from the second film.
Yeah, it's the second film.
Second.
The terrible one.
I think the thing is, it was done so poorly. It's
they borrowed from a terrible movie to make a terrible scene, but anyway. But there was all that breakdown, and look, I mean, if there's a decent chance she isn't in something, there's I don't know who's going to be in what now, and I don't think they know, because they just pushed the whole slate back. And I think who was it on the panel here that suggested maybe they're going back to the drawing board on some of this shit? I don't know.
Might have been Brahma.
Yeah. One thing is, it's been announced that everything's been pushed back, and I mentioned maybe the retooling things, but
that was you.
Yeah. But yeah, I think with that announcement is very telling.
Yeah,
very telling. Like literally everything is being pushed back.
Yeah. Well, they're all running out of money, right?
And the fly by the seat of your pants thing isn't working.
No.
It didn't work in Star Wars. Let's not have an idea for a trilogy. Let's just make individual movies and call it a trilogy. And it's not working post Endgame at all.
No, it's not.
They're not connecting things. The story is not an overarching story. It didn't have to be, but if they're going to try to do that, you have to make an interconnecting story, or you're just making the movies separate and linking things that make no sense.
Well, but but see, even if you make a contained story with contained arcs, like the 3 arcs or whatever, the main arc and then some sub arcs, you can still connect that to something else later. That just takes good writing. It doesn't even take as much prior planning as you would think, but it's just the only way they can sell things now, I think, is that they have to ensemble the shit out of it with boatloads of cameos, and I think that's a failing strategy.
That is going to wear off at some point. And quite frankly, as I say, it already has with She-Hulk.
Yeah, and so if you guys watch the new credits, right, the Marvel Studio credits specifically on this episode, look at the characters that are featured, and then realize that there's a lot of characters that basically got the MCU off the ground that are being pushed to the back.
Mm-hmm.
And the things that are being pushed,
you mean literally all of them?
Yeah. So the things that are being pushed in those new little credit segments are all of the new characters. So as the letters roll over, it's Wong and and Miss Marvel and Oh man,
Ironheart.
No, the karate thing. They just did the 10 rings.
Shang-Chi.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, Shang-Chi. God, I don't know what that name went out of my head. But that's the crap that you're getting.
The
now.
10 cock rings.
Yeah, there it is. I just remembered the rings. I don't know.
Shang-Chi and the culture of the cock?
There you
Is that
go.
how that works? Okay.
Yeah.
So apparently Yellowflash is saying that Blade is dead. I mean, at this point, I wouldn't be surprised considering.
Marshall Ali's going to pull out of it if he hasn't already. I don't know if the news is
I thought he
official
was
yet.
pissed off, right?
Yeah, he was pissed off. I know
Yeah.
that the director quit, and that's
The director quit. There's only 2 action segments in the script.
Yeah, that's what I heard too. That's dumb.
It's based on a 90-minute script. They're like basically writing it like one of these Marvel shows.
Holy
I
shit.
only have 2 fucking fight scenes, dude. This is Blade.
It's Blade.
Blade
Yeah.
should be
Come on.
90% fight scene
Yeah.
Yeah.
with him brooding at the camera. The other
When he's not
10%.
fighting.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, and
And Wesley
giving a
Snipes
lecture.
was
Yeah, he
boom
was
for that. I mean, he was. I can't say that he's born for the role or anything like that. He was Blade.
He was
Was he
Blade.
Snipes? Oh, hell yeah.
Oh yeah,
Whistler,
And
Chris
phenomenal.
Chris Christopherson as Whistler, right, would give him a lecture, and Blade would listen to it, and then he'd say, "Nah, fuck you, I'm doing it my way."
Yeah.
Yep.
That's basically the freaking plot of Blade. Every time he'd go back, Whistler would say something, and he would say, "Nah, fuck you, I'm going to do it my way."
Well, aren't they also making Whistler black now because you can't have a white guy mentor a black guy?
I guess.
I hadn't
He
heard
tried to
enough
get
about
Snipes to take the Whistler role.
Yeah.
But you know what? We haven't had an unapologetically, I am black, I am strong, I am a badass, like Wesley Snipes in a long time.
No.
I don't know. The Luke Cage character is pretty good.
Luke Cage, okay. But I mean, Snakes on a Plane,
Oh yeah.
Passenger 57,
Oh, God. I love
U.S.
Fast and
Marshals.
57. That's
Yeah.
such a good movie.
I mean, he was a leading man, and you went to go see
Still
it
is.
because you knew Wesley Snipes was going to be in it. He wasn't going to F around, and he was going to kick ass.
Oh, Snakes on a Plane. That was Samuel.
I mean, it's not
Samuel
Snakes on
Jackson.
a Plane.
It
I'm
was-
sorry.
No, it's fine.
Yeah, I
But
feel
no, I
so
knew
bad
where
for
you were
saying that.
going. I mean,
I
yeah.
meant Passenger 57, and I was thinking of something else.
Yeah, but you have you dude, he is still a leading man. I don't care what anybody says. Guy could still. Have you seen him? Guy would still whoop that ass, right?
He's
and
still, he is still stacked.
yeah, and he trains every day. Dude just constantly trains. He's like Keanu Reeves, right?
Demolition Man.
Yeah,
I mean,
God, he was great in Demolition Man.
he was the best part of that entire film.
Nintendo 69 points out Creed is coached by a white guy. Yeah, but it's also a Rocky movie. So you kind of have to
But
have
Stallone,
Rocky.
nobody's
Until
going to
this
push
one.
Stallone around
Yeah.
because he can come up with his own money.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, Paulie was like, it's Edward James Olmos was coming up with an independent film. And he's like, it's Edward James Olmos. You should just give him money to make his film
Yep.
boom.
because he's that good.
Yeah.
And they're not doing it.
It's
You know,
dumb,
for
right?
And yet they're giving these idiots.
Man, I know.
And you know what? I'm going to walk that back. I'm not going to call them idiots. I'm going to call them ignorant.
Okay.
They don't know. They're ignorant and inexperienced.
Yeah.
And you're just handing off the keys to a
Kindergartner
Ferrari 308 Classic
to a kindergartner.
to a kindergartner. That's exactly what you're doing.
Or a 16-year-old that just got his driver's license.
16-year-old that is on his permit. I'm going to hand it off to you, right?
Yeah.
No. And that's what they're doing with these. And maybe Comics you had mentioned, or no, it was Culture had mentioned that you look at the credits and the characters they're bringing in little known characters, right? Well, the whole MCU, I think, arguably was launched by Iron Man, who was not a main character.
DC player.
He was definitely D or C list character.
Exactly. And so they came in and they had,
Well, dude, let's be honest. Captain America, Thor, Iron Man are not A-class characters.
No.
The X-Men is.
Yeah.
the X-Men,
And,
X-Men and
Spider-Man.
Fantastic Four.
Spider-Man,
Spider-Man.
Fantastic Four.
Spider-Man, all that stuff. So maybe they think they can take another set of lesser known characters. I mean, Guardians of the Galaxy is my favorite Marvel film,
Yeah.
hands down by far. It's not even close.
I agree with that.
And that was a series of comics that were very obscure. Now, I read them, but I was also into Valerian and all that stuff, right? So there was stuff that there was the sci-fi offshoot to things and other stuff like that. And then there was the superhero offshoot to things. I was a big Green Lantern fan, but my favorite was Green Arrow. Always was. Just the way that he did things and stuff and things from there. But yeah, I think maybe what they're trying to do is one up themselves, saying that they can do it with even a more obscure characters. I'm guessing here.
Well, you can if you make them likable, right? And that's the key thing. You make them likable and relatable. You could have done that with the Eternals, but you made them blocks of wood. I mean, legit, everybody was a fucking block of wood in that movie.
And they don't actually represent the characters because they had to add all the dye crap into it. It's just, it's, you know, and again, it always comes down to, well, you know, this character's always been portrayed this way. Well, if somebody portrays the character better, if there's good writing, I don't care if you switch something about them. It doesn't seem to matter in certain circumstances. But to fundamentally change, like, well, Blade, we'll get back to Blade. Blade is Wesley Snipes. The dude still wants to play the character. He's still in shape to play the character. Why are you pulling somebody else in? I mean, I'm no dig at Mahershala Ali because he's a great actor too.
Mahershala Ali's younger. They can use him a lot longer than Snipes.
Okay, but how long do you think Blade's going to go? I see that's
they can rope him in for the next 10 years.
They can rope Snipes in for the next 10 years. I'm sorry.
He's not young.
But look at dudes that are acting into their 70s and 80s now that are still, you know, able to pull it off. Did you see Stallone's latest one that I just forgot the title of, where he's a
Samaritan?
Samaritan.
Yeah.
He's also in that Tulsa movie.
Yeah, and
he's doing some stuff.
And Expendables 4 is about to come out. So, I mean,
what movie were they joking about Rocky 5000? Was that
oh God,
Expendables 1?
No. It was like an 80s film.
It was an 80s film.
I know that was it RoboCop?
It was RoboCop, or was it Total Recall?
No, it wasn't Total. I swear it was.
I know what it was. It was Spaceballs.
Spaceballs. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
The baseballs they were making for
RoboCop
5000.
Total Recall Spaceballs.
Well, I just know.
I know it's the same thing.
I just know that there's been a lot of jokes about Rocky in a lot of different films, and some of them have even had Stallone in it. You know.
Well,
he's still making money with those, but he's not the main boxer.
So it's a different kind of movie because it is a throwback to those 80s action films, right? Because it has all those 80s action stars.
Yeah.
So I think that's different, where, you know, what Marvel's trying to do is it's like Red, you know, the movie Red. That's how I view the Expendables.
It's great.
It's a bunch of older.
Red was good.
Red
was
good.
was okay.
Helen Mirren.
Yeah.
Helen
But
Mirren
the thing with what Disney's trying to do with the MCU is, obviously they have their franchise and they want people who can stick around for a while, right? Because a good example of this, and this is one of the topics that we're going to cover, is the whole thing with Scarlett Johansson. So Scarlett Johansson's complaining about being sexualized when she was younger, and she's a very attractive woman. They had her play very attractive women in various movies. Yeah, you're right.
She wasn't complaining then.
She wasn't complaining then, but she's complaining now. You know why?
She's not getting their roles anymore.
She's 37.
She's hit the wall.
Hit the wall.
It happens every time with female actresses in Hollywood. That's when they go super ultra woke feminist. I mean,
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I just wanted to go back a little bit. There was something I started. What about? So the difference in those characters that we were talking about being the D-list is they had their own series before. These newer characters never had anything in the comics. So maybe that's a point inside of that. I just wanted to bring that up.
Yeah, Gary talks about this all the time, where they basically jump the line, right? You have 50 years of comics and stories you can cover and characters, but you are immediately jumping to the ones that are owned by Disney, right? Riri Williams was created under Disney. She-Thor was under Disney. Falcon Cap is under, Marvel, Disney. Miss Marvel or Captain, the current Miss Marvel, Kamala Khan, Marvel, Disney.
So they're basically, it's money.
Well, yeah, there's a royalty aspect of it too. And this is the thing, we speculated with the Star Wars stuff, right? Is how much money do they have to give George Lucas for using certain characters? And I want to say like Jim Starlin got screwed out of royalties for Thanos because of the movies. One of the things, and this is not new, but the comic book industry treats their creatives like shit, which is the reason why a lot of them are leaving and doing their independent stuff, and you have a bunch of nobodies doing stuff now. It's the reason why the art in DC and Marvel is garbage now, because they figured out, the ones that are smart figured out, and the ones that keep their mouth shut too, that if they go and they crowdfund a book, comic book fans will go and support them.
Yeah. Well, and I mean that's why McFarlane left Marvel.
Yeah.
I mean, he went off and did his own thing and launched an empire.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, we've got guys in our sphere, in our you know, orbit, or your orbit anyway, comics, that's what they're doing, right? We've got incredible creators as one of them in the chat right now, Jinja Ninja, right? He's got a book coming out. Everybody understands that you want to maintain control of your stuff, because if you give it to a faceless entity, especially in comics or any form of entertainment, will F you if they can.
Yep. And also, as Tim points out, Miles Morales.
Not Spider-Man.
Yep. Not Spider-Man.
Not Spider-Man. Miles Morales is Miles Morales. Peter Parker, Spider-Man.
You know, here's the superheroes I think we deserve. Right there.
Oh, shit.
No. Yeah, that's the Power Rump Rangers. Hard Fury.
Oh my
got
God.
the Power Rump Rangers.
The ambiguously gay duo 30 years later.
I don't need YouTube hitting me for that. So Massive Griff for $10 says 1 out of 3 men of all men 18 to 30 are virgins. You guys have a bias because you are older and married. Social media and online dating have made most men invisible. Is worse than you can imagine.
I don't doubt that at all.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say I don't have a bias. You're right. One thing I constantly say is I'm glad I'm not single.
I'm on your team, man. I'm out there preaching how men are being, treated. It's just a
lot of it. I know that this is stuff that Tim Pool has talked about. It is like the whole thing with dating apps is that all you need to be is like mildly successful and have money and be able to flaunt it a little, and women will just flock to you.
Yeah.
That, or you have to be a 9 or a 10 because women think that 9s and 10s are what they want, and they'll go sleep around on the dating app while they leave alone all the 8s and belows, when those are the ones that would actually be marriage material.
If you're not 6, but Brahma, if you're not 6 foot or taller,
yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of like new qualifying material in these chicks' heads, and I'm thinking, lady, if you're gonna check those boxes, you can't be anything less than a 10.
Well, exactly. It's those unrealistic expectations, right? And I think it goes back to what I was saying previously too, is that I think a lot of it too is that young men are not encouraged to work on themselves and basically start a career. And 1 out of 3 men, 18 to 30 is a virgin. I believe it. I totally believe it. It's insane.
You think it's that high?
I have no idea, but I think a lot of it too is you could say the same thing for women as well to a certain degree.
Well, again,
relationships are hard.
Yeah, I agree.
Right, marriage is, and when you say marriage is a sacrifice, there's many of us here on this panel that have been married. Okay.
4 of us.
Yes, and some of us multiple times. So,
wow.
It is very, very expensive, but it's very hard to realize that you could be wrong, right? And that's a lot of marriages. They say if you make it through the first year, that's really tough. When you start realizing that, hey, I could be wrong in this, and this person could be right, and we're going to have different opinions, and you're going to have misunderstandings.
Yeah. Sorry, talk. So I decided to Google it.
It's your channel. You can tell me.
Nearly a third of men under 30 aren't having sex. That is what some things are popping up.
Doesn't surprise
Adult
me.
male virginity soars. About 27% of men under 30 report that they haven't had sex since turning 18.
This is why I'm always going to point people towards a different path. Like, I'm going to say, you know what? If you want to be successful in life, if you want to have a family, you know, in your 30s, if you want to do those things, you don't always have to go to college. Go to a trade school. Become fabulously wealthy by the time you're 25. I mean,
Well, if you,
it's just, you know, there's a different path for you. If college isn't your bag, you're going to make more money as a you know, a big rig mechanic. You know, you're going to make more money as an HVAC guy. You're going to make more money as a plumber. Nobody wants to be these things. Nobody wants to be it. Well, some people might, but I mean, most people don't go into life going, I want to be a plumber. You know, well,
and you can make a ton of money as a plumber.
You do. Yeah. I mean, you know,
and you don't even have to own your own business.
No, you could work for somebody else and make a ton of money. I mean, the amount of money you make just to show up at a house. But electricians are in high demand because there are none, because they're all retiring. That's why you're hearing commercials from the unions now for the IBEW or whatever they are, right? Because they're like, well, fudge, we got nobody doing these gigs, and no contractors can find anybody to do these gigs, and nobody can get anybody to, you know, do these repairs for these gigs. There's a lot of money out there. And we've abandoned trades. It's something that a lot of governors and a lot of states have been campaigning on, is returning, you know, a lot of these things like wood shop, auto shop, you know, metal shop, all these other activities, you know,
skills.
Yeah, practical skills. Most kids coming out of high school can't balance their effing checkbook. In fact, they don't understand the idea of like monitoring their spending versus their,
they don't use a register. They use online banking,
which is fine. Except what if the bank F's you? You'll never know.
Or what if there's a, heaven forbid, an electromagnetic pulse, and the second after, everything's gone.
Yeah. Well,
none of us have cash anyways. So.
It goes back to what we talked about, the whole thing with bullets becoming currency.
Right.
Yeah.
I've recently taken some college level courses that were, I guess you could say that the like speech classes and things and stuff like that. So they're in that kind of gender studies stuff that you have to have core curriculum.
Humanities.
Yeah, humanity type stuff and things to get out. And so going back to the young men in classes like that, I had the age and experience to be able to form a coherent argument against the struggle session that some of those classes turned into. And some of those through message boards and some of them in person, where the other, young men in the class didn't. So I'm hopeful that by seeing my arguments and the things that I said and the things that I defended in the speech class were I pissed off a lot of people. Let's just say that in the class, but I didn't do anything. I didn't say anything bad. No. I didn't put anybody down. I just laid out facts, made my arguments, did what I needed to do. I hope that somebody picks up on that, because I will admit I had an advantage in that I could be a boy in school and I could make those kind of mistakes, and it wasn't going to show up on Twitter. It wasn't going to be on Instagram or Snapchat. Well, kids use Snapchat now to talk. All this thing, Facebook stuff's passed. Now
it's Instagram primarily, but yeah.
Instagram, yeah. Now they know who you are.
Yeah.
You've got to give a picture of yourself and do all these things, numbers and stuff to get on Instagram. And they know who you are. They know where you can come to, and they can target you specifically.
Yeah.
It's not AI, but it is patterns. So they're able to take these patterns, and if they can catch you while you're young and forming, because your brain's not fully done till you're 25, it can ruin your life. And it takes you a while to realize this is not how I want to be, because you haven't been given those tools.
I think it's the reason why they're trying to basically prolong adolescence, right? It's like they want adult children.
26 now.
Well, they've already got
health insurance.
Yeah, they've already got them. I mean, at 20, how old is it now for health insurance?
26, your kids can still be on.
Good Lord.
Health insurance. 23 when I was young.
Obamacare took it to 26, I believe.
That's insane.
I think the Biv here's got it. Those jobs you guys described sound like a lot of work, or that I might get dirty. Yuck. So,
dude, you're gonna hate my Cultured Builds channel. I'm just saying. Yeah.
But
I saw Tina in the chat, and Tina actually liked She-Hulk and thought it was a great finale, and she put that on Twitter in the Twitter fluff that we had beforehand. And I said, I am really happy for you for that.
Yeah,
she's getting enjoyment out of this, and
I always tell Tina,
I'm getting enjoyment out of it too.
I know comics is
a different kind.
It wasn't made for me. I know that, and that's fine.
I don't think it was okay.
So, but if it's made for someone like Tina and she enjoys it, and other people have enjoyed it, obviously people are watching this,
yeah,
to some extent. Then I'm happy for it. And it did try and make fun of itself, in a way. I thought it was clumsy, but I also think that Gary and Mahler and Ryan and Az and Critical Drinker are in their heads. And obviously Doomcock
sure.
is. You cannot
100%.
tell, look at that, and not say that Doomcock is in their heads.
Oh, so. Dude, Doomcock owns the room, I think. And it's not just them. I mean, it's also with Star Trek. Go ahead, Brahma. Sorry, buddy.
Well, the thing with Doomcock is he's somebody who uses it was an avatar that is easy for them to use because he uses a helmet. Yeah. He's a stand-in, I think, for all the guys. Yeah. But that's the one where, I mean, yeah, you could have had a guy with thick glasses and a beard and, and Gary's haircut and been just as obvious, but that's also looking for defamation suits. Doomcock is a helmet.
Right.
I mean,
dude,
I think that's why they used him.
Yeah, Dan Slott has done it to Doug Ernst.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He actually had two guys in his Spider-Man book that were criminals called Doug and Ernst. Yeah, I mean, and legit, Dan Slott is that petty of a person to do that. And him and Doug have been going at it for years.
That was just my take on it. I don't know.
No, and it was an avatar for the entire set.
Yeah.
But it wasn't obvious.
It was obviously him.
Yeah.
I think they misunderstand. They're incapable of taking criticism because they're incapable of introspection, right? Their ability to look at themselves and their own and everything that they're doing and take some accountability, or even, internalize some of the criticism that's being made around this stuff. Because even if you make legit criticisms about the show, like the CGI is bad or any of these other things, they're going to call you these names. None of those names are even relevant to the criticism that you're rolling out. The things still stand for themselves. The CGI is still terrible. There were many moments in this.
And then Tatiana comes out with this comment about how it's like a comment on women's bodies or something. It's like, what the fuck?
Rings of Bullshit is telling us that, they're fighting for democracy and some other such craptasticness. And I'm like, you guys are just, whatever. Your show sucks. Look, if your show sucks, it sucks. And it sucks for a reason. It's because you're infecting it with a lot of this Marxist bullshit that, is just completely opposite what the human spirit desires, which is freedom. But hey, But
if it was supposed to be a bad show that obviously took shots at us, why would you spend $100 million or whatever it was just to make a show that they admit is a poorly written show in their own show?
Oh, it's a lot of
just to take a shot.
Ultimately it's what it is. It's petty because at the end of the day, what they could have done? Ignored us. Yeah. You know what they also could have done? Wrote a better
good show.
Yeah, that would shut us up.
I love praising things. Do you realize every time we go into one of these things, even though I know what it's going to be, even though I'm told what it's going to be, even though I get clips and script things and all that stuff, I coverage whatnot. I don't care about any of that. If you write something good, I'm going to praise it. So, I can give you many examples. We just talked about Samaritan, but we can talk about Cyberpunk Edge Runners, which a lot of us here on this panel have seen.
Hot D.
Hot D, yeah. And I would, lately, do you see oh my God. Anyway,
I need to watch the rest of the episodes. I still haven't gotten past two yet.
Dude, dude.
Yeah, Hot D.
Dude, the last episode. Oh my God.
Somebody recommended Pantheon. I started watching Pantheon. and I have to say for the most part, it's pretty good. I have my complaints about it. It does suffer from modern day isms. But the story itself, I think is pretty.
By the way,
is pretty good. Oh yeah, so is Arcane. Arcane isn't as bad as I would say Pantheon is. I think Pantheon's probably a lot more in line with Invincible, with some of the messaging. But there's like it goes back to you know there's quite a bit of girl bosses and there's men crying, and
I love
but the story itself is actually pretty good.
Okay, so is like harmless guy Pug in the She-Hulk show? Is he gay?
I just think
he did this at the thing and clapped like that. So I don't know.
Well, he could just be a democratic socialist. You don't know.
Yeah.
I was wondering about a few things. Is it an Easter egg for Tug, that umbrella guy? A lawyer, Pug, Tug.
It doesn't. I don't. Think
also,
so.
did we bring in Leapfrog to be Pepe? I don't know. I mean, you start to dig too deep.
Yeah, but none of it landed. If that's what they were trying to do, it didn't land. You know what I mean? It's just like
I just wasn't sure if it was weird Easter eggs that if you know that kind of thing. But
yeah, but then it's Easter eggs for what? The room full of writers, which is the whole problem that this show suffered from. You're writing for other writers, write for the fucking audience. See, this is again modern entertainment.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah,
right.
So I mean, I can tell you that I'm glad it's over.
I am too.
All right. I'm
looking forward to next season.
me
because there have been a couple of super chats that I've been able to hit up to Gary. The one where I told him that Comix Division has forced me to watch She-Hulk, and found myself humming Bon Jovi tunes. And Gary was on there like, stop now, get away. And I got a lot of humor out of that.
Yeah.
A huge laugh. So and there's only been 26 minutes or so, 23 minutes per episode.
Yeah.
It's been like going to McDonald's, ordering a small fry, and sharing it with your family of 12. That's what watching She-Hulk has been like for me.
That's
nothing in it. The wife stopped. And she's like, do I even want to get into this? I'm saying, you might enjoy it. I don't know.
Oh,
I know people that have.
The boss is catching up on it right now. This weekend, we're shooting our review for the entire show because she tapped out after we did a couple reviews on the channel. We're going to review the whole show, and I'm going to let her go. It's going to be more of me interviewing her about the show because she's going to destroy it. So we'll see. She's a smart lady. So,
hey, thanks to Just Another Redshirt for smiting the mighty bot.
Yes, thank you, Redshirt. The Basco scenario. What's up, guys? Gar for 6 Canadian. Learned many traits from my pops. Teaching my girls to know these as well. Got offers to redo kitchens, bathroom. Can make a killing with traits.
Yep.
That's again one of the reasons I started the Cultured Build channels, which I will be getting back to, folks. In fact, I have a project.
Thank God, I need more mean fodder.
Yeah, you got it. But the reason I did it was because I recognize there are a lot of people in this world that do not have basic skills. They can't do their own maintenance, their repairs, or any of this stuff. And it will save you money in the long run if you know how to drain your water heater to clean out the element area so that it lasts longer. To teach people how to.
That reminds me, I need to drain mine, but that's beside the point.
Yeah, it's that stuff, right?
What do you got to drain, Comics? Are we going to see that
on water heater? My water
heater. Sorry.
Sam Adams says the cock of doom is always on their minds.
Yes, Sam Adams is great.
100%, Sam. 16-bit mascot. Another reason they hate Doomcock is that he actually has his own form of talent and imagination. They can't take it.
Yeah,
he is a very talented person.
He is.
There's a lot of talent out there. Yeah. I've been looking through ISOM #1.
Ooh.
It is from a quality standpoint, it's a quality book. The pages, the covers, the way I don't see any creases. Whoever said that, but it's a quality book. The art is quality, and the story I'm getting into right now. We didn't all get them in time, and that's why we're probably not going to talk about it tonight. because it'd be unfair. But I'm impressed, and the cards, they have the 3D, hologram stuff on them. Lenticular. That's what it is. Those are phenomenal.
Yep.
And
I'm stoked, man. I'm waiting for my stuff. I'm like,
I got the posters here, all that stuff. I don't want to open this stuff until Culture gets his.
Yeah.
Right. And they're all coming. They really are doing it in order.
Yeah.
And it's just with everything that was going on from there.
A lot of that.
I am looking forward to book number 2. And the people that are in this, please stop calling me racist. I'm reading a comic book that was written by all minorities. All right. You can kiss my ass. And this is probably the best comic book I've ever picked up.
There you go.
So,
and I was an idiot and bought 2 signed copies and forgot to get a reading copy.
No,
I don't want to sully my 2 signed variants by doing anything with them, so I've just got to buy another copy so that I can read it. So don't wait on me.
I wish I got more when I had the opportunity, but unfortunately, it just things didn't work out that way.
Yeah.
Well,
I got A and B
is
signed
for his band.
Yeah.
And that's the creed is up front and all those things. And he, put his money where his mouth is, literally went out and made something happen. And he's going to continue to make something happen. And he's going to continue to move forward.
I think my favorite thing to come out of ISOM is the fact that Chud Fact Checker is literally being broken by this. That is so funny.
Some of the petty stuff that has come up, it's just like, dude, seriously, go outside, touch some grass, go for a walk, get some exercise, let something out, because this is just awful.
It's legit funny. It's like, take the fucking L. The Chud Fact Checker basically said the book would never come out and it was a grift, and now everyone's showing their copies. Oh, the book is still crap. It's like, take the fucking L, loser.
Yeah, it'll never come out.
Yeah.
He might have donated to Cecil's cash grab.
Oh, really?
I guess, where it literally said he was going to create nothing with this money.
Well, the funny, that's the joke. Cecil actually has created stuff. He has something, but there's an issue that he couldn't get into, which is basically holding the book up. Yeah. But yeah, legit. I mean, my whole thing is I didn't go for it because it was called cash grab. But to a degree, I'm kind of like, what do you expect when something's called a cash grab? So
didn't Chink from the Young Turks do that?
Cenk Uygur?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he did something and didn't.
Hasn't he been offering a book forever that's never been written?
I'm
not sure.
Is it about horse sex?
Right.
I guess. I think he said he had to learn to read first, and then he would get into writing. Yeah. So yeah, I think we got a long time to wait for that.
Hey guys, for me, let me. I need to go let my dog out real quick.
All right.
Okay.
Who let the dog out? Comics.
Stop it.
Comics has a small cock. Who? Oh, did I say that? Oh, okay. So here's what I'm gonna do.
All right.
Let's see here. We've got some memes.
Ooh.
The memers have been in the chat and doing some stuff here. So
I love this so much.
I like this one. Like this one a lot. From Devil made me do it. Another great meme coming out from Devil there. And I'll pull out some of the sound ones a little bit later. But this lovely Sherry. I am not a piece of ass.
Yeah, you are, baby.
That is awesome.
Oh, dear God. What did I walk back into?
Over-sexualizing Comix Division.
Lovely Sherry is apparently memeing her fantasies of yes.
And she is slaying it.
She's on fire.
So anyway, apparently my dog was just barking at the cat.
Oh, okay. And then there's this.
Sometimes. Robin Dixon tights. Oh my God, that's fantastic.
It's actually true.
Look at Tom. Tom's looking cool. I like that. It's a blind
look at Toxic Mantle with the hat on.
Yeah. I am surprisingly the Dave Chappelle character.
Yes, you are a toxic in color.
And you're Little John. And that's Tom is the blind.
It's her joke.
It's her joke here.
Guys are mean.
Mr. Zickletrunk wants me to show my tits. No, I'm not going to show my tits. Even though that was a nice brag.
It's disappointing.
Well, I mean, she looked good. She's a small person. I thought she was good in Lucy. I thought she played a good character in
Oh
that.
my god, that was so good. What an underrated film.
A very underrated film. Her and Morgan Freeman, I think, was in it, right? From
yeah.
there. And she's done a lot of good films out of that.
Yeah.
And I can see, you know, as we get in, I can see that. Hollywood has always made money off the starlets and things and stuff like this. So,
I'm not prude. I'm just modest.
Well, let's do this. Let's talk about the fact that
this is flat and hairy.
Well, why does it sound like somebody's clipping their toenails? What's happening right now?
Thomas
Anyway.
is clipping his toenails.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's the
Come on,
matter,
man?
No. She actually did that film. He's Just Not That Into You or some shit, right? Where you literally see her bare body in that film. You did not know what you were doing when you were doing that. You didn't know you were being sexualized when you were doing that.
Unless it was a body double. I mean, I understand. TNA sells.
Mr. Trickle Trunk, you certainly know how to romance a girl.
Wow.
But no, I mean, seriously, yeah, you're right. TNA sells. I mean, just look at the 80s. Look at all the TNA films that came out during that time period. I mean, come on. And it's like, a hot young woman. Yeah, it's going to fucking sell. So sorry, ScarJo. You made a lot of money off of it. And now you're complaining. And again, going back to the whole thing with her, the reason why she's complaining is because she's hitting the wall. She's 37. She's about to turn 40. And we all know what happens to actresses once they hit 40. They stop getting work.
That, or she'll start playing the mother to somebody who's 4 years younger than them in real life.
Yeah.
And they complain about that. They're still getting roles, but now they're playing the mother, not the love interest.
Well, the
or
roles
they're playing the grandmother.
Yeah, well, the roles start becoming few and far between. You're right.
Right.
But
and she may have an argument. I mean, look at John Wick. I mean, we all love Keanu Reeves, but he is 10 years past his ability to do those films that are coming up.
I don't know about that. He's doing the abilities and
he does it all.
Okay,
so that's not what I'm saying.
This is something that Sargon talked about. It goes back to the social value of men and women. Men, when they're younger, have a very low social value, where women, when they're young, have a very high social value. As men get older, their social value increases, where women's begins to decrease. Why? Well, for several.
The roles they played.
Well, no, we're just talking society in general.
Just society.
Well, yeah, because a young man, you wanted to have a bunch of young men, and they would go out. They would hunt and they would take risks and do things like that. And you needed to have a bunch of them to go out, and you needed to have the ones
now
that survive.
in today's society that all still applies. And the whole thing is that Scarlett Johansson, though still very attractive, she's getting old enough to where her social value is beginning to drop, and she's not going to get the sex symbol roles anymore. Much like you said, it's going to be no longer be the mother. Excuse me, no longer be the love interest. It's going to be the mom. And this is the whole thing where, people kind of complain about what the whole thing with social status or social standing or social value is because of these things. And it's 100% true. It's like I said with, all you have to do is just look at any society and look at the marrying age of women versus the marrying age of men. Men tend to be older, women tend to be younger. This is, for the most part, up till recently, has always been the case. Always been the case. And it goes back to the whole thing what we're talking with that social currency.
Leads back to that original conversation we had tonight.
As men get older, they have more value. And it's the reason why someone like Keanu can still, pull those roles off. Because they always say that the older men get, obviously up to a certain point, the more they get hotter as they get older.
Silver fox theory.
Yeah, the silver fox thing, where that doesn't necessarily always apply to women. So yeah, I mean, it's unfair. That's reality, though.
Right. Well, and what I'm saying about Keanu Reeves, he trained really hard for the first John Wick with Terran Tactical and all the stuff that they did there. And he trained hard for the second one. But when he was talking about the third film, Parabellum, I think it was, whichever one it was, he said that he slowed down noticeably.
Breaking down.
Oh, fuck, dude, I'm feeling it too. I'm slowing down. I'm 48.
Yeah, and he says I can't do the kind of scenes that I could. I can't get there. In comics, about that with the Kempo and stuff. You've got to get here. You've got to get here and do this. And he says he's having trouble getting there. So where he used to be able to get there 8 out of 10 times, now it's 4 out of 10.
I'm to the point. It's like I really need to start hitting the gym, because if I don't, it's just like the body's just going to go downhill real fast.
It does.
And if you don't maintain it, you're going to fucking lose it, especially once you hit 50.
Oh yeah. And with Keanu, I can definitely
go ahead. I'm sorry, Ron.
With Keanu, I can definitely see what you're saying, because that last abomination of a Matrix movie, he wasn't moving much at all. No, he wasn't physically doing hardly anything. But those were filmed about the same time, if I'm correct on the timeline.
So he wasn't going to be able to do 2 at once. And sorry, honey. What have you walked into? That is comics on Black Widow's body.
It's Comics Widow.
Mm-hmm.
All I have to say is, goddamn, because Meet Wazad, who we met in Vegas, is 48. We're in the same age, and he's in amazing shape.
Oh, he's a monster.
Yeah,
and rather good looking, I have to say.
Yeah, there are a lot of good looking humans that are paying attention to us because we're good looking humans. So.
Yeah, he's a person that I would like to emulate. So
damn, dude, Chris, you're 55. Holy shit, you don't look 55 when I met you. That's crazy.
I want to be 52.
I thought you were in your 40s, man.
Yeah, Chris looked like he was in his 40s. He's a cool dude.
But yeah, I think it's funny because she's done this several times where she's complained about being overly sexualized, and this is like I don't know, like the 3rd iteration of her complaining about it.
Yeah,
and from what I've heard, is apparently ScarJo is dumb as rocks.
Well, yeah, okay. So I'm with Anna Moss. Just want to say that round is a shape, so perfect shape, and Vasco's 46, but that's the youngest freaking 46 I've ever seen in my life. You look like you're in your late 20s, dude.
Yeah.
So, and we don't know who these people are in real life. We only know what's there on the screen and the persona that they're put forward. And you hear stories about how horrible some people are and about how great some other people are. Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell. You never hear anything about them in the news about fights and all that stuff and all those things from there. Kate Hudson seems to be well-rounded.
Very.
From there, so you can kind of pick them out. Chris Pine, who had his parents were on ships and they were together. He seems to be well-rounded too, to a certain extent. But I don't know these people personally, so I can't say what level of her intelligence is. But
he wore like weird woven boat shoes to like the premiere for Don't Worry Darling at that film festival. So I don't know about
gone over
next to Harry Styles and his dresses.
Yeah, dude, fudge. That was weird, bro.
He's like the living embodiment of the dude right now.
No, he's a soy. So he's the soy dude. Soy. I'm not gonna call him a boy.
Kurt Russell?
Oh, no.
We were talking about Chris Pine.
I was talking about
Chris Pine. Okay.
And the Harry Styles kid. That Harry Styles kid is like soy, like the soy warrior now. I'm like, good Lord.
Polka dots. Oh my God.
And until something happens to Bridges is still going to be the dude until somebody else can take that title.
Hey,
from
dude, and
he's
he's going hardcore.
That
on
old
the
man
camper.
show was pretty good.
Yeah,
I saw there. So, but this is J.A.F.O makes the right point. By the time we get to about 38, it's hard for our bodies to repair itself. And when we're talking about our bodies repairing the cells every 7 years, and the copy of the copy of a copy of a copy, and it starts to degrade, and you start losing the ability to repair yourself and bring those things up. And that's really what happens. Which mRNA, if they get it right, they can go to the cells and have the copies repaired.
Yeah,
reset your clock.
Yeah.
Well, the one thing too I've noticed with me is like a couple of years ago, one of my cats scratched me, and I have these, basically the scars on my arm where beforehand, they would be, gone. So like any kind of like cut now, basically scars. So it's like, holy crap, that sucks.
So one commander wanted to know why a picture of his wife was on screen. So apparently he's, married to comics. ScarJo outfit. Yeah. You could be married to this. Oh,
bye, Brahma.
Who did I just kick out?
No, Brahma looks like Brahma got kicked.
Oh.
Oh.
Wow.
Look at that. That's a good look. I like that.
Is it really good look?
Is it really good look? I'm sorry. Are you worried about your...
I don't know if you can pull off the red hair, bro.
No.
It doesn't look good with a beard. Yeah, you're right. But you with a bloody knife in your hand? Yeah, I could see that.
I can see that.
Oh my god. I did a series of films with a friend of mine years ago. With the bloody knife. It was actually pretty cool. I'll have to show you them sometime. I gotta find those.
This one
Scott was a good model.
You liked him?
My friend
Scott.
That's Jeez. Oh my god. I you guys saw that right today? That thing that was going around?
Oh yeah, with all this what the hell up is that flag? That's devil made me do it again. Apparently he loves comics, and the rainbow beard is pretty funny.
My god, I love that. What the hell is this? Current year in a nutshell.
You see all the symbols here?
Yes.
FNN. And this is just current year.
It's current year.
Which is the name of your new channel, by the way.
Yeah, I renamed the channel Current Year with the NK because it was a lot shorter, easier to say. we were talking, Tox and I were going back and forth talking about what I should rename the channel to, the new channel to that no one's subscribed to yet.
So the chat has exactly one guess what I said. So,
yeah, something gay.
Yeah, getting gay with ENK. Yeah, and you immediately fired me. So
yes, I did. I fired you for a total of 5 minutes, and I realized I need you.
And
so
you brought me back. And then I did another gay joke around that, and you fired me again. And so it's a daily occurrence.
Yeah. Yep, pretty much. It's a cycle, I would say.
You got like 5,000 views on the one video that you did, the Biden one.
I know, dude. That was crazy.
That was pretty good. So you've gotten some traction over there with some of those things. So
well, particularly with that video, nothing else has really kind of caught fire like that one. But I have another
that you have there's really good.
I have another Biden one coming up, and then I have one, and you talk about prepping again.
I hate to interrupt the promotion. You need to promote harder, according to Mr. Trickle Trunk. They're looking for a link to the channel.
Yeah, that would be
my job.
Yeah, promote harder.
Trickle Trunk for 2 Canadian. Scarlett's bitter and pulling the ladder up behind her.
That's what all female actresses try to do. Do you know what? It doesn't work.
Yeah.
Although I will say this. Who's the super hot chick that was in Lethal Weapon?
My wife.
No, she's red hair though.
Mrs. Flu.
I'm trying to work this out. What was her name? She's also
Renee
in
Russo.
Yes, dude, she's smoking hot. She was smoking hot into her 40s, smoking hot into her 50s. She's still smoking hot.
Thomas Crown Affair with her and Pierce Brosnan.
That does it for me. Like
that
the
was
boss
an awesome film.
Dude, the boss and I'll crawl into bed. That thing will start. We get to a certain point, and the lights.
Next thing you know, the boss is calling you Pierce.
That's right.
I was going to say I'm not going to make a joke, but
speak to me in English.
Southern Belle 7777 for $5 and burn you out. Ecstatic and giddy if you never see the universe again.
Yeah. I agree with you. Look, I said it, but now going on maybe 3 months, maybe 4 months ago, I said, you know what? I'm pretty much almost completely done with Disney. It's amazing for me to say those words. And we're in it. I get farther separated from that and someday I'll tell all the stories around why that was that's such a big statement for me to say. But it's a daily shift, and I think it is for a lot of people. And MCU, it's sour, and Star Wars is destroyed. Sorry, if they put out a Star Wars film now, how much do you think it would make?
Not $1 billion, I would say.
No, I think people are tired of that stuff. I trust Lorena Creel
on
her reviews of Disney.
Yeah.
As someone who's grown up loving it and someone who is based and critical thinker and self-made and knows a heck of a lot more about IT than I do.
She's awesome.
And that's, I'm being modest. I'll be modest and say I know a lot about IT, but Lorraine is way over the top compared to me about that. She knows her stuff about Disney, and she will give you the true review when she goes to these things. And she still goes. I admire her because she finds enjoyment where I would just get pissed off.
Yeah.
So even though she sees the things and, oh, I don't like that, I don't like this, there are still certain things that she goes and finds enjoyment out of, so it doesn't ruin her day. And Mrs. Flu does that. We're quite two ends of the spectrum on that one when it comes to that. And I have a lot of respect for people who can go and do that.
Yeah.
What she's done to Disney and Andor. There are people who like the ending of Andor and like the show. I found the production value to be very good.
Yeah. I mean, I agree.
Yeah.
Even the first 30 minutes of what I watched, I thought the production value was loads better than what we got out of Mandalorian. And
Yes, and
blah, blah, blah.
The last show, I thought we had a lot of suspense in it. There were things I did not expect to happen that happened. But there were two things. So I've always said that Andor is like a cock tease. And even though we got the delivery, I still was left saying that's it at the end of it. So I really think this was a 75-minute script for a film.
Stretched out over 10 episodes?
These. But the production value and the acting were really good in this one. I felt some tension.
My biggest issue, I honestly, I like what was like the first 5 minutes of the show where he's at the bar looking for his sister. The kind of the way that he was portrayed, I felt like was like how Mando should have been portrayed. That kind of like, kind of ruthless gunslinger kind of thing. But it got to a point where the show I started losing interest because it started meandering, and it's like nothing's going on that's holding my interest.
Didn't get enough of his backstory. Why is he like this? Right? I didn't get it. So you got some. What happened? And that's what I mean by, is that it? And the whole cock tease line. I got to the point where they're ready to give me the payoff for his life on that planet that nobody wants to talk about, that the Empire's erased from the history logs. And it was burnout, and nobody was supposed to be able to live there. But yet the kids were living there. Why were there only kids? All that stuff. All that stuff was left. And the same thing at the end of this. Why did this happen? Why is this working? Why is this?
Well,
and
part of my issues with the illegal immigrant story was the fact that you live in a galaxy for the most part that has no borders between planets. Anyone can go and fly anywhere for the most part because it's never really been explained. And suddenly it's like you have illegal immigration. It's like, that makes no sense.
Yeah, there was, and that's why I talk about the production value. I thought the costuming was great. There were some scenes in this last episode that were phenomenal. The CGI in the payoff scene that they had with the sky and the things flying around and the ships and stuff like that were really, really good. The close-up scenes in the cockpits and all that kind of stuff. You can tell that there was detail and care to the sets that were made. And yet there were still some holes to that. But I thought that there was a little bit of agency. It just didn't go far enough.
Mm-hmm.
So, I cock tease is maybe a little bit too harsh for some people from that, but it's just, you don't get. I left
the previous
myself,
episodes definitely were.
Yeah, they were definitely that. This one was better, but it still came short, and it left me saying this:
"Give me the meat and give it to me raw."
That's where I was.
I can see how you feel that way. I'm still going to say this. The people who did the credits for this and the people who did the credits for Moon Knight, those are the best things of these shows.
I can. So Moon Knight, I 100% agree to that. The CGI and the credits were phenomenal.
Yeah.
If they had taken, and I'm not being an ass with that. It's really true. If they had taken whoever the CGI team was for the credits and put them over the show, it would have been a much better show from that standpoint. I don't think anything could have saved the CGI that was going on with She-Hulk.
No. But the hand-drawn stuff at the end, the credits and all that.
Yeah, that was all great at this. And the scene in the sky when all that stuff came flying across and all those things, and how that started and how that built and how that turned into what that turned into, and how they described what it was before. That all I thought paid off. There were some things that if they had this planned out as meticulously as they said they would, that I wouldn't have seen happen. But it just shows how fragile the rebellion was. If we were to go back and look and see what actually happened in the 1770s, and actually started in the 1760s, that led up to the the American Revolution. Yeah. The heroization that we give to that, if we'd gone back and seen what they actually were, it would have been different. The entire World War II turned on 5 minutes in the Pacific at Midway.
That's true.
If it wasn't for that, it would be a totally different story. The Japanese would have been able to walk right into San Francisco Bay, and there would have been a different story with how things went in that war. And that would have affected the China theater, and that China theater would, in a given time, for the Japanese to meet up with the Germans and start providing raw materials to the Germans. So everything would have been totally different. So going back and looking at those 5 minutes and all the things that happened to make that happen, all the luck and things you would call it. So I can see that and see that them trying to put some of that in the show. But I am definitely admitting that I'm looking for the good in this.
I know.
That's the problem, right? Is the fact that you have to look for the good.
But again, I mean, I'm one of those people that I'm like, I try to give everything a fair shake. So it's just, I want to be able to pick out, okay, this looks good. This looks good. This looks good. And unfortunately it's all superficial. It's all the visuals. It's all the cinematography.
Yeah. There's no story.
Those are the things I can speak positively about. And again, I'm sorry, when you're a critic, you have to be able to say, these were the good points, because they're not everything's 100% terrible.
No, and I thought this was and that's why I said the production value of it.
Unless it's She-Hulk.
Except for She-Hulk.
I loved Critical Drinker's intro for his She-Hulk review. Oh my god, that was
Jesus
so funny.
wept.
No, he has this thing where he's like he has like clips from Rings of Power where he's talking to Galadriel. It's like, you have not seen what I have seen. He's like, I've seen She-Hulk.
And then it goes to her face and it's like, ah.
Yeah. Oh my god, it was so funny.
I thought I was completely out on Andor. This episode has at least had some action in it. It still wasn't a great episode, but I wasn't as down on it in the beginning as you were. So I was after the fourth episode, I was about ready to be out because they still hadn't done anything. I mean, the one warehouse scene was all we had. That's the problem with
this
episode.
Shows. Nothing
at least
happened.
Had something going on. It wasn't just walking.
So
that's why Blade only having 2 action scenes in it, I was out.
Yeah, 75 minutes of script. You know what, Tox? I think you're 100% right. I think that's all they had, and they stretched it for the Andor.
That's what that 100%. That's what I think it plays out.
Yeah, but that doesn't surprise me, because a lot of this stuff is written for film, and it's dude, we're gonna get a fucking show that's turned into a film. Do you know what Plan B was? Because they were gonna put Blade, back in its little box for a while. Is the fucking Armor Wars is going to be a fucking movie now instead of a Disney Plus series, a completely undercooked thing.
Who's looking forward to that?
It's going to go back to being an undercooked movie. So you have an undercooked movie that was going to be an undercooked show that's going to now be an undercooked movie again.
Jeez. Well, I think I don't think we can downplay now just how much damage Solo did to the Star Wars plans for films.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, which Solo is a film I actually enjoyed. But this is coming from someone who says that Rogue One is the best Star Wars film I've ever seen. And it's not even close to anything else.
I honestly felt that way for the first movie. The first time I watched Rogue One, I thought it was like the best thing ever. Mm-hmm. And when I watched it again, I was like, maybe this movie isn't as good as I thought it was. And I watched it the third time, I was like, this movie's garbage.
And that's a lot why I don't go back and watch films again. Like, I've never seen Rogue One again, and it really gets to Mrs. Flu every once in a while. I don't want to see it again. I saw Braveheart once. It was a phenomenal film. I don't want to see it again. I don't. Because I know that there were problems with it. Yeah. And I just want to remember the experience that I had, which was positive. Now, Usual Suspects, it's what I've seen 20 times.
Oh god, that movie's great.
Yeah,
I've only watched Endgame one time simply because of that. It's like I walked out of the movie. It's like I know if I watch this movie again, I will fucking hate it.
Yeah,
because
you know how many times I've watched Infinity War?
Once.
0.
None.
Not good for you.
I've never seen it.
I don't. You know what? That doesn't.
Not Infinity War. I meant Endgame.
No. I've seen Endgame.
Okay.
I haven't seen Infinity War. So the movie that a lot of people say is the best in the MCU, I've had zero interest in wanting to go see.
I would not say it's the best movie.
I said many, not
okay.
So of the this is going to be a fun question. Of all the MCU films, which ones have you seen more than once?
Winter Soldier. I honestly, out of everything, I like the Captain America movies the best, which is ironic considering I was never a fan of Captain America.
Wow.
Yeah, no, never a fan of him. I thought he was too kind of cheesy, right? I mean, he was too heroic. I mean, I'm more of an anti-hero fan, right?
Too Boy Scout.
Right. He was the Boy Scout
for me. And where I think Chris Evans really kind of made the character relatable for me. And I thought the first movie was great. Out of all of them, I think Winter Soldier is the best movie. I mean, Civil War was okay.
I didn't like Winter Soldier.
Really?
Yeah.
Man, I mean, it was fucking great, man.
I've got to think about this. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Culture.
No. I asked you guys the question. I'm going to go last. So no, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. The only one that I'm thinking about this, the only one that I've seen from end to end more than once is Guardians of the Galaxy and Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Yeah. No, I've only seen that once. So just Guardians of the Galaxy. Blade counts, and so does Deadpool. Okay. But I don't know if Blade, anytime it comes on, I'm watching the damn film.
Well, okay, but those aren't MCU movies, technically.
Right. They're not technically MCU, and Deadpool, the first film, that was not something that wasn't going to come around unless Ryan Reynolds put out his own money on that. Okay.
Right.
So if you take those two out, then the only one is Guardians of the Galaxy. And whenever that's on, I will just turn and let it go.
Yeah.
But that's it. The rest of them, they're a point in time. That's done and over with.
Oh, wow. PIT, that's a conversation. And let me tell you, there's a lot of that out there. Mm-hmm. We're going to have to start talking about PIT more when we talk about these subjects, because I don't think people realize, like, because they are so caught up in the moment of that particular point in history, they aren't timeless. So for a point in time, something is good or successful, or not good and never going to be successful. But there are very few films I would say are timeless. So that's a good point, Tox.
I think the biggest issue with Civil War is that honestly should be its own run rather than just a movie or maybe a series, because so much happens in Civil War, and you really do need to have the X-Men involved in it. That there's so much you can do with that storyline. The biggest issue with it, though, is the fact that it's superheroes fighting superheroes, and that's kind of the problem. That's where the comics are right now. It's always the superheroes fighting the superheroes, not the villains. It's the same thing with like Civil War 2 and Secret Wars and Secret War and all this other crap, and Secret Empire.
Well, you actually just kind of had it in this stupid She-Hulk shit. You know, because they made Emil a nice guy and, you know, a redeemable person, you know, and
Right.
you know, and it's so he's not really a villain anymore. You know, they got rid of the other villains through, you know, changing the story, so we ended up with nothing.
I mean, he was a villain from when was that movie?
Oh God, that was Banner's Hulk, right? So, no, wait, that's Norton's Hulk.
Yeah, it was Norton's Hulk.
Norton's Hulk. So that's Norton's Hulk. So that
was pre 2008.
8. Yeah, 08. I think you're right.
Yeah, the Incredible Hulk, right?
Yeah, I think you're right.
I mean, they had Abomination in the first Hulk movie, which was awful. And then
wasn't there another? What was the Hulk that had Banner in it? Those come out around the same time.
That one came out first. That was the first one.
Norton.
And
Guzzlecum or whatever his name is. I don't know.
Guzzlecum's your cousin, but sorry, what?
Wow, bro.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's Sucking Cotton.
Oh, okay.
Sorry about that. I got your German.
Well, thankfully, we're 2 hours in.
Yeah. What?
It's fucking with you.
Toxic man flu.
I know.
A part of that does no one get.
I get it.
The toxic part. The man flu part we get, just not the toxic part.
Yeah, that's right.
Speaking of getting, so same question, Brahma. What's an MCU film you've seen more than once?
I've seen most of them more than once.
Yeah.
The Eternals and Shang-Chi. Eternals I haven't seen more than once. Shang-Chi I never saw. I mean, I kind of just got fed up with what they were putting out.
I eventually see all of them. I still haven't seen Black Widow. I still haven't seen Shang-Chi.
I haven't seen Black Widow either.
I haven't seen anything.
The early stuff I've seen multiple times.
Yeah.
Okay.
I haven't seen any of the Thor. I haven't seen I haven't seen Black Panther. I haven't seen Infinity War. I haven't seen Spider-Man No Way Home. I haven't seen Shang-Chi. I saw Multiverse of Madness.
No, dear God.
I saw it twice.
Just skip that one.
Yeah, I didn't watch Mom.
Yeah,
I mean, I went to the theater with the family.
I watched.
And that's one of the point in time stuff.
Awful, but it wasn't good. You know, I
we
mean,
had yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
We like.
I'm trying to formulate.
I had a family experience there. Okay, we went with the family. We had dinner, and we saw a film. And just like 21 and 22 Jump Street, we went to go see those as a family. We sat in some seats, and we died laughing at all of the toilet and boy humor and stuff that was there. Were those films great? No. Are they funny throughout all the time? No. Do I go back and watch them now and some things are funny, some things not? Yeah. But it's the point in time family experience that I remember. And I'm also old enough to realize I'm not going to catch lightning in a bottle twice.
Yep.
You know? So I'm not going to go back and try and recreate that here at the house in some kind of home theater of seeing those things. I'd much rather create a new thing, whether it's a board game or we played Cards Against Humanity. That's niece's confirmation, and the cards that came up were totally inappropriate for what was happening on that day. But it's what she wanted to do, and we had a great time. We were there with family, and that is something that I remember. And from there, and we talked about some of these things.
Mm.
Yeah.
Let me get some super chats out of the way. Wild Warlock for 2 Australians says, playing acoustic guitar. What song should I learn?
So there's a song by Jason Aldean called Tequila Makes Your Clothes Fall Off. You should learn that.
I would say that most Nirvana songs actually translate well to acoustic.
Anything by Wheeler Walker Jr.
If you can pull it off, Stevie Ray Vaughan. If you can pull off any of his John, sorry.
I know, I'm kidding.
Yeah. He's the rest of part of that.
Yeah.
Oh, look, it's Terminus.
Yes. Hey, Terminus. Your body needs endorphins to be able to watch most of the show. Scar is gay too. Why would I be surprised?
One of the actresses in Andor was in Game of Thrones, the original. So she was
all I gotta say is the mechanic chick in Andor is smoking hot.
Oh yeah, Yeah, she does. Everybody dies.
No. Oh, she dies. Everybody dies.
Everybody does. Everybody.
I'm
Eventually,
fine.
yeah.
I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, it's kind of, you make a prequel about somebody where you know what's going to happen,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and it doesn't make sense. So yeah. All right. It would have been a good spin-off film had Solo made it. So
It's like, dude, I said that 20 minutes ago. Hey, Darth Call's in the chat. What's up, dude?
This is very true.
No one ever really lives through toxic influence. Oh, so while I was randomly going through Bounty into Comics today, I saw this article. It's actually not one of the things I have listed to talk about, but it's one that where the title says it all. Rachel Ziegler says she's bringing a more modern edge to Disney's live-action Snow White. She's not going to be saved by the prince or dream about true love. I mean,
Stop reading there.
Yeah, I mean,
That told
honestly,
me everything I think I need to know.
Yeah, like legit. The thing I find so funny about this, so I often accuse Disney of appropriating culture, and it's true because they've gone and they've appropriated the Grimm's fairy tales. One of the things I find absolutely hilarious is that Disney is responsible for giving these, quote unquote fairy tale endings, when a lot of the Grimm's fairy tales end very tragically. Snow White being another one.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's why I never listen to anybody when they talk about all the changes in the Disney stuff, because almost all of those stories had bad endings, and they changed them to
they changed it to be more, I guess, family friendly. I mean, it loses the point of the fairy tale, but it goes back to the whole thing what we're talking about with things being modernized, right? I mean, that is a modern take, and I hate these modern takes on these different periods where shit like that would not fucking happen.
Right.
It's just, it's dumb.
Okay. What the hell is she going to do? Is she going to be another ripoff Snow White and the Huntsman?
Yeah, probably.
She'll be in a polyamorous relationship with all the dwarves.
Polyamorous.
Well, no, remember, they're not dwarves.
All the dwarves are going to look, they're all
they're magical creatures now. They're magical creatures.
There's 7, what is that? Quintuplets? Quextuplets or whatever. They're all Comix Division quextuplets. Centuplets.
No, so they're not dwarves. They're magical creatures.
Ow, I didn't hit you yet.
Is that because...
Incoming.
Ow.
Wait for it.
It's the mic. Sorry.
Ow.
Does that go back to Dinklage? Is that what? Yeah. Is that where that one started? Was the
Dinklage fucked it up? Yeah, Dinklage fucked it up for little people everywhere. What a
hot
dick.
chili pepper and lime flavored meat sticks.
Ooh, yummy.
Yeah, but Dinklage
pulling up that very short ladder behind him.
But yeah, so okay. And Hollywood's eating itself with this woke stuff, but they do that all the time. They chase their tail whenever the current thing, and chasing it and going from there. If somebody gets enjoyment out of watching this and they feel like they're empowered to go out and do stuff, and it gives them confidence to go do things, as long as they're not saying that the Prince Charming can't do anything or he's a dumbass or whatever, there's got to be some equity, quote unquote, in the whole thing. So equity is not making the female character all empowered like Guy Ladriel and all the men incompetent. That's not equity. That's bullshit. That's what that is. Right. And yes, they did it with men in film and the women were not competent. But go look at Aliens. Watch Aliens.
But when was that? Like
Sigourney Weaver?
Like the 40s and 50s when they were doing that? And that wasn't always the case.
Yeah, they were doing it back then. And I'm like, no. Aliens have been doing that for a long time. Right. And there are other, some of the blaxploitation films that they've had that had very strong female characters in them. And
Foxy Cleopatra.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. But there's been strong female characters. One of them is you've got a clip from it, The Long Kiss Goodnight, I think.
Oh, with, God, it's a great film. Yeah.
Right. Phenomenal film. And she and Samuel L. Jackson, she's the badass. Just now remembering and all that. La Femme Nikita.
Mm-hmm.
Now, La Femme Nikita,
I'm going to play it because I just love this clip.
You're always this stupid, or did you take lessons?
I took lessons.
No, I mean, that is like great back and forth.
It is. Those two worked very well on screen with those parts, in my opinion. La Femme Nikita, the original, and then the one that they did here with, what's her name?
Don't know.
It's Gabriel Bryn and Bridget somebody. Anyway, that was really good here in the U.S.
Is it Nielsen?
No, it wasn't Bridget Nielsen. Let me go look it up.
Bridget Fonda?
Well, I remember there's the
No
No
Way
Nikita
Out here.
TV series. Yeah, No Way Out. That's right.
No Way Out was the one that was here. And
the TV series was amazing.
Yeah, TV series is really good.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Of course, I'm a weird guy. I also like the Dollhouse. I get a lot of shit for that.
I mean, I didn't give you shit for it. I just didn't like it. I don't know what it is for me with his shows. I mean, I typically don't like them. I didn't like Buffy.
David Wilson.
I liked Firefly, but I feel like his movies are better. Serenity was a great movie.
I wish he
We
wouldn't
didn't
have.
get enough of the series to.
Yeah, I know.
I feel like if he'd have fleshed out the series, we'd have had a much better run at it. But it said, look, you can only do one show. So he picked
Bridget
one.
Fonda from Point of No Return.
The chat had it a while ago.
Yeah.
I just didn't want to interrupt.
Yeah, I like I said, I mean, I don't know. Anyway, but we got on the Nikita, and I'm like translating into TV around the same era. So there you go.
Well, and we're kind of talking about tropes and how they sometimes cycle back through and kind of stuff like that.
Yeah.
I was actually talking with somebody yesterday about it. Part of the reason that I like Yellowstone so much is because it's not the dumb dad trope. Like Homer Simpson.
Yeah, dumb dad
from
trope.
Homer Simpson on, everybody's been an idiot dad.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not everybody, but it's a thing in shows.
But it wasn't helpful.
The dad's got to be a big idiot.
No, but you're right. But to add to that, and then I'll let you keep going, is that, Married with Children didn't help because, the boys were portrayed as really dumb. Now, the women.
No, man.
They're all kind of dumb.
Yeah, no, it's not just the men, though. It's the women, too. I mean, come on. The whole thing with the daughter, she's a fucking bimbo. She's an airheaded bimbo. That was the whole joke. Where Bud was more of a loser, but he was smart.
Yeah. Well, and 3 of them went on to have great careers, and Bud not so much.
Yeah.
Let me get Southern Belle saying it's called Nickelodeon Dads, and yes, I agree.
Yeah. Darius Munchausen with a box of popcorn for $1.49. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things out there. I mean, sure. I mean, it can be funny. The issue is when it gets overused, right? The dumb dad thing, the bad dad thing. That is like one of Gary's big pet peeves. He's been talking about this shit for as long as I've known him.
It bugs me. I don't like those tropes. I can't
stand it.
And again, this comes down to men have it worse than women, and I don't care.
I think that the thing is, though, it's like you could do it as long as you're not overusing it. And that's the problem. Is it's a fucking trope that is overused, right? Because I don't think there's anything wrong with having a bimbo character or bad dad character, but it's when you only portray men as bad dads is where it's a problem.
But they glorify, promiscuity for women now. So is that really a trope anymore?
Yeah, it's still a trope. I think a bimbo is still a trope.
Okay. I mean, wasted white girl is for sure.
Wasted white girl. Yeah.
Wasted white girl is.
I've seen as
a
Dark
level
Pulse
of
says here.
bimbo.
Oh yeah, I've seen the advertising change too.
Wait, wasn't that
Oh, yeah.
that was actually a trope used in She-Hulk in a positive way? What was her name with a Y?
Madison.
Madison, yeah.
Because she's a empowered drunk girl.
She was
But
done.
dude, okay. I'll be honest with you. I haven't noticed the stuff in commercials mainly because I don't watch TV. So I'm kind of curious to see what you and Call have seen when it comes to ads.
Dude. Yeah. Wow.
I really don't watch.
I can't say
anymore.
anything because it's going to come off as racially slighting. I won't do that. So, oof.
Well, on screen.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, we went from a time though where you had dads like Carl from Family Matters and you know Tim Allen and Home Improvement, which he was goofy, but ultimately he was well-meaning and not stupid. He was clumsy.
Right.
You had tons of dads back
Well, the
in
racial
the 80s
makeup
and
of the
early
families
90s.
is one.
Yeah.
The gender makeup of the sex makeup of the families. So you've got more
gay
same-sex
families.
couples and things and
Yeah.
stuff like that, showing he's having a normal life, which is perfectly fine. Many couples that are same-sex couples have wonderful families. I know several wonderful people. It's all about love when it comes to family.
Yes.
Right. And that's all that matters. You taking care of each other, you got each other's back, all that stuff. You just need to realize that 70% of this country is still Caucasian.
Yeah.
And
I've noticed that too.
And
Right.
90 some percent is still straight.
and you're not gonna sell if you exclude them. Because, so by specifically targeting a market, you will gain them, but you'll lose the other.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not a winning outcome. And throughout the history of the world, minority recessive genes don't survive.
Well, one thing I've noticed ever since 2020, there seems to be a lot more minorities in commercials, and honestly, I don't have a problem with it. I just think that the timing seems suspicious because of the whole BLM thing. Because it's like if you guys were all about portraying minorities in these commercials, why the fuck have you been doing it for like the last 20 years?
Yeah. It's
Legit.
just Hollywood
why
following
haven't
a
you been doing it? And we all know the answer to that. The issue, like I said, it's like I don't have a problem with it. I see it, but I just see it as suspiciously timed.
Like I said, I mean, it's all about power.
Yeah.
And messaging.
Well, but that's a form of power.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's frustrating. But I know this much. There are shows you can enjoy. I always want to get back to that. There are things to enjoy. And a lot of us are reaching back into our catalogs of
Venture Brothers.
My wife wants to watch Bed Knobs and Broomsticks because
Angela Lansbury.
and Angela Lansbury passed.
Yeah.
That cyberpunk show.
It's great.
Finally finished it. It was great.
Yeah. And you know
Oh,
what?
you did? Yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
Very good.
And you know what? They're actually considering doing another anthology version of the same kind of show.
I hope
So
they
you
do
can-
it, man.
Yeah.
It was very well done.
It was very well received too. Unlike, as somebody just mentioned in the chat, the redo of Cowboy Bebop. If you're going to watch something like that, the original Cowboy Bebop, fantastic.
Yeah. Good series.
Yeah.
Like I said, I've been watching Pantheon. I think overall the story is pretty interesting. There are some things in it that just it's like, oh my god, this is such current year. It's such current year garbage. One of the characters, they haven't like fully gone into it, but I guess he's like an experiment, and he has like a fake mother and father, and they're both like kind of like agents that work for this company or organization. Not really sure. And the dad is supposed to be really abusive, but it's all like a facade. He's really kind of a pussy, because like I said, they're playing roles. And there's like this one scene where he's supposed to break the woman's arm with a hammer, and he's like, I can't fucking do it. And she's like, basically chastise him and takes the hammer, breaks her own arm. And it's shit like that. It's just like, oh my god, that is so fucking over the top. But it's like, the roles have been kind of flipped, where it's like, you make the guy kind of passive and more in touch with his feelings, and you make the woman more toxic male. It's just like, that's current year. That's the main issue I have with the show. But other than that, the story itself is pretty interesting. There's another issue I have with it, but it gets into the plot a little bit. So I can't really bring it up, but it's interesting. I've been enjoying it, but shit like that, it just fucking grades on me now. Okay.
So I'm gonna share this because we're talking about older shows and stuff, and So I really enjoyed the show Lucifer, right? Because it
that was a good show.
It feeds into the stuff that I loved about Anne Rice's book, and of course the obviously the run that Lucifer had in the created by characters. But I'm at the same time, Anne Rice did a great job with Memnoch the Devil, and I'm like, this is a great show based on this kind of a concept where maybe the devil isn't exactly the bad guy that we've been told. And I'm like, okay, that's a fun thing to play with. And then we got to season 5 or 4, actually, I should say. And that's the point at which I believe Netflix took over the series, or where they were about to take over the series. But anyway, when you get to season 5, you start to see a complete shift in the show where a lot of this messaging is creeping in.
Really?
Right? Yeah, I've started because I've been rewatching it. I wasn't paying attention to it the first time, but like they bend roles. They're like, well, no, we need you need a gender diverse or gender equal like cast, and that was in one of the episodes I watched recently, which was like a story episode because every once in a while they did like an out of place episode, and I'm like, okay, so this was actually happening under our noses for even longer than many of us realized. And then
with Lucifer, yeah, dude. I mean, that was very apparent that they were doing that from the beginning.
Some of that stuff, yeah, but some of that stuff was like not over the top and fit in the story, and the writing was good.
Well, it didn't matter because the characters were interesting and well developed, and the fact that it's like you had Lucifer's brother who's another angel and he's black, and then you have Maz. Who's also black, and I didn't care. I just thought the acting was done. Lucifer was great, and the other side characters were great.
Yeah, but it all fell into the idea that corporeal form had zero to do with any of that ethnicity stuff,
right?
And Celestials are going to be different than humans, but they're going to have the same kind of problems, which is another amazing thing that was in the show, right? And so I again. It was a lot less apparent that the messaging was there because the writers were more talented, right?
That's huge.
And now we're where we're now we're where we're at. So
what happened in the 5th season then that really started getting into the message?
Just stuff like that, man. Like on screen, stuff that was overtly not within the character's normal portrayal. It's hard to describe comics. Just I tell you what, go back and watch season 5 and 6. Go to season 5, episode 4.
Okay, and
just watch that one. But it's like one of those things. And again, I'm a freak show when it comes to television stuff. But when I go back to that, I'm like, oh man, that pisses me off. And then here's the weird thing, right? Because again, TV nerd, entertainment geek, business guy. So I'm when I watch something like, and you guys probably heard of this show. It was leftist to begin with. It was called West Wing. It was written by Aaron Sorkin, who is a great writer, really good with dialogue. And that show, if you go back and watch it, it's actually calling into question everything that's happening with the Democratic Party right now. It's really weird. It's like, wait a minute, you guys portray yourself this way. These are the things you believe. It's clearly delineated throughout that entire show because, of course, you had D.D. Myers and all these other people involved there that were part of, that Clinton White House. But you get deeper and deeper into it, and you're like, okay, if these are the things that you're telling everybody you believe, and the show follows along with all those principles, that's lovely. But you contrast that with what's happening now. They are polar opposites. You should. It's a really interesting show when you compare it to modern day, and it was a pretty decent representation of some really rough days in the White House because a lot of these people that were working on that show worked in the White House.
So this is interesting. I want to highlight this real quick. So Radio Man 1017 for $5 says the 66 Batgirl was the first Mary Sue. As soon as she joined, she saved Batman and Robin every episode. Batman became incompetent. I can go back and rewatch that. I don't remember.
It got real campy at that point. And Batgirl came in and they needed something.
Shark repellent, bro.
Yeah.
That's Batman shark repellent.
Jumping the shark.
Yeah. That show jumped the shark there. I mean, I'm sorry.
It jumped the shark before Happy Days did and coined the term.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah.
Shark repellent.
It was dumb.
Well, and there's a point. We talked about this, and there's a cat that may jump after the microphone here. We talked about propaganda that was used in the 50s by the U.S., and it was used in the 20s and 30s, and before World War I as well. Propaganda is used to try and control the populace. That's just the way things work, right? And what is propaganda now? When it's all the stuff on social media and it's these television shows. So they think, that they are truly helping by doing this.
I don't think they see themselves as truly helping. I think they see that as they're trying to control the world in some form.
Yeah, it's power. It's power.
Yeah.
True
Well,
control.
certain people I think are doing the power part. I don't think anybody's writing these shows are. I mean, I honestly do not think that they are intelligent enough to understand that. They are being manipulated by others into doing this show, and I think
they could be true believers. Yeah, like I guess like you're saying.
I mean, once you get the cult to the point that it's self-sustaining, right? You only need one there was only the Manson family, only one of them that really needed to set the pace from that. And the Guyana tragedy, Jim Jones, only one.
Yeah.
Only one crazy little zealot, and then the sheep that followed. And it's just a matter of putting them in the right set of power. I mean, try and win a political seat in Utah without being a Mormon.
Well, there's a guy with his finger over the button right now. So
yeah.
It's one of those weird things that we talk about, but entertainment's always it's always going to be tied to control, because it always has been. You have to provide distraction to the masses, and that distraction can be laden with messages. It doesn't even matter. So I mean,
see, my favorite from back in the day was Boston Legal, and that show had Denny Crane, William Shatner, and Alan Shore. So Alan Shore's character is a lefty, and Denny Crane is Spade. Yeah, he's Alan Shore. So he's a lefty. Denny Crane, William Shatner is pretty. I mean, they depict him as pretty far out there, right? But they're best friends.
Yeah.
And you had the B story was pretty much always with them. The A story was whatever case they were working, and I love that show. Yeah, and that was when people could talk to each other a little bit.
And it had dialogue, and it was a legal drama and all that other thing. And there was comedic moments throughout, and the Ally McBeal, I Need a Sandwich show was the same. Oh, look at that. Elijah Craig. Is that tonight's?
There we go.
Nice.
Yeah. Brian McCann was asking what I just poured.
That's good stuff.
Well, it just seems with the election of Trump, and we're probably going a little far afield, but the ramp up of the world is going to end now in everything.
Fear.
Entertainment and all that stuff. That just was multiplied by several factors of 10. And I heard that living in New York when
9/11
Bush was elected and what we're going to do and doing all that stuff. And every Democrat there was anti-war, and now they're pro-war.
They're very much pro-war.
Yeah, and I'm like,
it's funny watching Uche defend the Ukraine war. It's amazing.
I'm like, no, you can't. That's money. Oh well, all those kind of wars and stuff from that. I have to say that there was a point where the way I determine a first world, third world country based on how they treat their women with rights. Okay, that's how I define it. So there are still countries in Africa that do certain things to their young girls as part of their tradition and all that stuff. Yeah. And I think, okay, that's enough of that. Now, am I imposing my values on somebody else? No, I don't think so at that point. If they're going to stone a woman for being assaulted, okay,
that's messed up.
That's messed up. All right. And we can go into other stuff and things like that when we're not on YouTube and they're doing that. But I just think I used to believe that. We're going over and doing our blood and treasure to spread that news of freedom and spread freedom around, to give people the right to vote and let them stand up for themselves, do all that. And that died a while ago. But this whole thing we pull out of Afghanistan, all that stuff, it just killed it. So now there's nothing for these writers to rage against.
No.
And that's why She-Hulk, and coming all the way full circle back to She-Hulk, that's why they wrote what they did. There was nothing for them. The bad guy was the Fellowship in She-Hulk. That's who the bad guy was.
Up until
And
they
that's
just got rid of everything.
disturbing to me.
Yeah.
It is, and that means they're totally bankrupt in ideas when it comes to that stuff. And they may think that they're being clever, and they're not.
Oh my god! Did you see the Velma and trailer?
It's awful. It's awful.
Where
My
she's
kids are
basically-
telling me it's awful, and
Oh
they
my
love
God.
Scooby-Doo.
At least they kept her white. And it's like, okay, you clearly don't know what our fucking arguments are. You don't know what they are.
That doesn't. Yeah, it's
Like
like
she's like, we need to keep things the same. Okay, well, that's not our argument. It's there's a difference between saying, oh, we need to keep something and not change, or we need to be true to the lore. You can make something new and still be true to the lore, or true to that character, or true to that comic book series. That's the issue. That's the issue we have. But we all know the reason why they're going and changing these characters is because of the identity politics, intersectionalism, which is basically what She-Hulk was. It was an intersectional FAP session between a bunch of women. No offense, ladies. But that's what it was. And it's like, it's going to be one and done. It goes back to what Jamila Jamil said. I got paid. Everybody on the show got paid. You know what? This show will be forgotten in 5 minutes, but at least I got paid.
And that's actually the problem with modern entertainment. This is a recurring conversation between me and Tom and Andre and you and Toxic Manflu and Brahmabull and all of us here. It is
Tom.
Yeah, it is. It's one of those things where I'm always saying, "Are you going to watch this again? Do you remember anything from it?
Nope.
Did it touch you? Was it good?" You know, and the answer to all those questions is no. Nobody can tell me, like, outside of maybe the Hot D, right? Hot D, decent chance I'll watch the second time through. That's a decent chance. First of all, because the in this last episode, that was the most amazing performance I think I've ever seen.
Yeah, it was good.
Right.
Very
And I'm no spoilers, guys, because if you aren't watching the show, this is the show to watch.
Dragons in it.
Yeah, there's dragons.
I don't care about the dragons. I honestly don't. That's not why I'm there.
White-haired Valerians in it.
Also don't care. You know, what I care about is this a good show? And it is 100% good.
Ultra Casino loves the Hot D.
I do love the Hot D. Yeah.
Because that D is hot.
Do 37.
What we're missing, right now. Oh, sure.
Cast Inspired for $5. These people automatically make themselves the hero, but with no adventure, they must invent the villain. This is why they point to us and scream, there. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, the critics become the villain because they have no villains because they've never ventured outside of their circle.
Yeah.
But I lost my thought.
Sorry.
Oh, yeah, going back to what Culture was saying. So and what Jamila Jamil said about I got paid. I mean, these actors are all acting like pro sports athletes. I mean, they're basically just chasing the money. Entertainment is not art anymore.
No.
If it was art, then it might be memorable. I mean, even if it's a goofy show or whatever, if you make a goofy, memorable show that is not meant to just be, consumed, but to actually be dissected, has good writing, has good comedy, whatever, that's something. Because early Simpsons, great example versus late Simpsons. Early Simpsons, you can quote almost every episode.
That's true.
You get past season 10, nobody cared anymore because A, they're recycling, and B, the writing fell off.
Yeah, and wow, did it? No, but that's right, because the difference between what we used to have, which was entertainment, and what we now have, which is content, is complete opposite sides of the spectrum. And it's incredibly frustrating for anybody who was trying to find an escape, which is, again, you're not making timeless things.
No.
And you're not even making timely things, because honestly, production time, as we've seen, is a real hindrance when you're trying to.
It goes back to your comment about art, right? I mean, and not everything needs to be super arty, but I'm sorry. I guess it was
That's
Brahma
fine.
that said that.
Yeah,
It's
fine.
fine.
But it's true. It's this is content. That's all this is. It's content. It's not entertainment. It's content. It's disposable. It's forgettable. It's content on a streaming platform. And don't get me wrong, folks. I'm all about streaming. It's way more convenient, in my opinion. But I think the whole thing with streaming, it has made things to be a bit disposable.
It's meant for large quantities of consumption. It's not
Yeah.
meant to be tasted and actually,
Yeah.
get the flavors of it.
Mindless, right? It's mindless. It's mindless. And current day thought process entertainment.
Mhm.
Content. It's not even entertainment. I have to stop saying that word when associated with what.
No, it's not. It's not entertainment. It's content.
Yeah, and it's frustrating. Art left the building a long time ago, folks. That guy got up. He took his collar, removed it from the nail, stood on his own 2 feet, and walked out the fucking museum. And that happened way back, longer than that we even want to admit, going back to Weinstein with Miramax. I mean, I actually made this point in a private conversation earlier, none of you would know about. But it's like when Weinstein came in and started doing half and half or two-thirds good films for mass consumption, 1/3 for trying to be Oscar bait, that was the point at which things changed. Because the dude went out and bought Oscars with campaigns for little known films.
Oh, dude, that happens all the time. That's just the way it works in Hollywood.
Now it was Weinstein that changed the game, though. He was the dude that came in and did that, and then from that point forward, the decline in the art associated with film began. You can say lots of loving things about artistic films, but Martin Scorsese came out and said, more stupid crap again recently, that I'm just like, dude, you don't get, what's happened to this idea of art. He's like, you shouldn't use the box office as a scorecard for whether or not a film is successful. I'm like, dude, there are 5 or 6 studios left out of the like 20 something that, when you started your career used to exist, right? You used to be able to take and shop your shit all around, right? You can't do that anymore. And you happen to be, and this was another part of that conversation, part of a dying breed of filmmakers that can do both at the same time and make something compelling that's artistic, but also a good story that's going to be consumed by the masses, and it's going to win on the scorecard. But these studios don't care. They just want to make something that is compelling enough to get enough money in the box office to, at least eke out, another profit so that they can go on to do another one.
Yeah,
because
that's basically the D+ model currently.
It is. Yeah.
I want to get this comment from the T Backpack. It's called binge watch because people watch the series all in one, and I have a problem with the binge model. I know it can be convenient, but I think when it comes to the longevity of a series, I think it kills the momentum. It's like when you have the ability to go and watch an entire series in like one weekend, no one's going to be talking about it a week or two later.
Well,
where
House of the Dragon versus Cobra Kai right now.
Right.
House of the Dragon we're still talking about on a weekly
Cobra Kai
release.
is
Cobra
when
Kai
it's
was
done.
in the zeitgeist for a week.
Yeah.
2 weeks, maybe.
It made 2 weeks, but if you look at the latest Nielsen numbers, it kicked everything else's ass. But again, that's a 3 or 4 week delay from when this shit actually happened, which is, this is the other problem that we've talked about many, many times, is that we don't really know what's actually popular in reality for longer than it takes to, for people to consume it. And that's dumb. I mean, at least with the box office scorecard, I know whether or not a film's going to flop or not.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I was already saying Amsterdam isn't a good film. People I trust already said it wasn't a good film before it even released. And then it comes out and it rocks up less than $5 million on its opening weekend. And they spent over $100 million, plus on this film, not counting like everything else that's added into that.
Ensemble cast.
And they spent a lot of money on those actors, and that thing completely sucks rocks. It's going nowhere. Right. And
I've never even heard of it until Yellow Flash put out a video today.
Well, that's funny.
I'd never heard of the movie.
Yeah, I actually mentioned it a couple days or like going into the weekend. I'm like, this thing is hot shit. It's not going to do anything. It's gonna and
What's
it
what's
didn't.
called?
Amsterdam.
What is it about?
I don't care.
No idea. But it's got about 20 big name actors.
Yeah,
in
I
it.
mean, it has everybody and their mom in the film, and it's like, you know, the review of it, it was like, the story's dumb. It doesn't make sense. There's no coherent plot. Nothing pays off. I mean, it was like just rough. Chris Gore did a review on it, I'm not sure he even gave me any of the plot points for the film. I'm like, I didn't miss
that's
anything.
kind of the issue. It's like a lot of these, a lot of modern stories is meandering from one scene to another, right? I mean, the whole point. Here's a pro tip for someone who never wrote scripts professionally. Just letting you know, but I've read a lot about it. Everything you do in your story is in service to moving it forward.
Yeah.
Every line of dialogue is in service to pushing the story forward. Yeah. And that's not what happens. A lot of it is unneeded filler for the most part.
Stretch the time.
Yeah. My friend who, I don't know if he does film stuff anymore. You know, like you said, I used to run in a lot of independent circles here in town. And I had a good friend of mine during that time period. He told me that the way you can kind of describe the hero's journey or just like a story in general is a man climbs up a tree, people show up and throw rocks at him, and he climbs down forever change. Okay, that is the easiest way of summing up the hero's journey, or just something that happens to the main character. Mm-hmm. You know, the climbing of the tree, you could view it as the journey. The people showing up and throwing rocks at him is the adversity that he faces during his adventure. And then obviously he climbs down at the very end, forever changed by the events of the story. And that really stuck with me. And you know, when you write a story, those are the type of things you got to think about. And not every story is about the hero's journey. I've mentioned this many times before. It's fine to have an already established character in the middle of their career. This is like the thing I point out with Boba Fett.
Yeah.
You know, but there has to be something that makes it interesting. Yeah. One of the books I read recently, it's funny, I was talking to one of my coworkers, it's called 1 Second After. So I finally got done with that. Oh my God, that book was a nightmare. I mean, a nightmare in the sense that, it gave you nightmares because of what happens. It's about, I'm not gonna say World War III. It's about an EMP being detonated over the United States, and then the repercussions that come from that. Now, the story is good. The main character, though, is a Gary Stu. Yeah. And a lot of the stuff that I complain about, like with She-Hulk and other, things where there's Mary Sue's, I'm going to complain here about the male character. He's a little too perfect. He is a former colonel that has turned professor. He seems to know all the right answers. Everybody seems to like him. He really doesn't face a lot of adversity in the sense that, I mean, he does, but it's more kind of external. Like his daughter is diabetic, type 1 diabetic, and you can imagine what happens to her when there's no refrigeration and you run out of insulin.
Yeah, that's a big problem in the whole thing afterwards is type 1 diabetics when you're set on insulin. The
only mistake he makes throughout the series is that he gets in a fight, he cuts his hand, he doesn't take care of it, and it does get infected. This happens at the very beginning of the book. That's like the only bad decision he makes. But everything else, I felt there should have been more conflict with this character because you're in this kind of post-apocalyptic scenario, and you think that everybody is going to start fighting with each other on what decisions to make. And it really doesn't happen like that. But like I said, overall, I thought the story was good, even though that the main character is a bit of a Gary Stu. Like I said, he's a little too perfect. Everyone likes him. He knows he has all the right answers, so to speak. But I understand that's not the point of the book. But I am going to point that out and complain about it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and it's nice to have a good dialogue about that, Yeah.
You can still have a good story with a bad character. Unlike Star Wars, where we had a bad character and bad story.
It's not the fact that the character's bad per se, as much as it kind of makes him uninteresting.
Right.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
You don't want everybody to win all the time. Sometimes, I mean, I've read multiple fantasy books where the main character, be it male or female, has either shunned their powers, I don't want to do this, and now, okay, I've got to do it, I've got to accept the responsibility, there's a growth that comes in there. Or they are the rogue, you know, like Han Solo. Han Solo doesn't want to take on the mantle of hero. All right, so he wants to take it. Aragorn does not want to take on the mantle of hero.
No.
All right. Fake Sauron in the new whatever, Screw the Rings. All right, whatever that is. He doesn't want to do two things. He doesn't want to mount Galadriel or get mounted by
nobody
Galadriel. And he doesn't want to become king of the South because apparently he realizes he's not going to last against a pyroflectic flow from a volcano. So...
Pyroclastic.
Pyroclastic, sorry.
Pyroclastic.
Pyroclastic, sorry.
Pyroclastic flow.
The
Yeah,
volcano erupted and they lived.
Yes, that's a problem.
Yes.
That's a problem.
Wrong. That's not science.
No. Science is you're dead.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, there's not much of you left.
Yeah.
So
you died fast, really.
But ash.
Yeah, ash.
The volcano had the high ground.
Yes, it did.
It not only did it have the high ground, it had all the ground.
And had indigestion apparently because none of that was real.
It just had gas.
It Cheeto dusted all over your face, baby.
Oh god, the magic Cheeto dust. But so some of those, you know, the characters, once they get their power, they go up against the baddie and they just, that's it. The baddie has the light triumphs over the dark just because it's light right at the end of that. And I think so some of those things, it's good to have that message because you know, the Grimm fairy tales were there and they were that would keep you from wandering away in the woods.
Yeah.
But you also need to provide some good or else you just black pill your entire society and nobody wants to keep moving. And they don't, you know, and that's how you stagnate. So you've got to have stories that you escape. And there are times and there are people who like to have reality in their story and where people die. Like, you know, so there was stuff in some of these things that we have watched together. Yeah, there's some dark stuff out there and some things that how they end up. We have all had stories like Rogue One.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody dies.
Yeah, I was completely fine with that ending.
Yeah, but you know what? In reality, that happened.
Yeah.
There were double agents working, and there were agents working, and they died constantly. And
was that line from Return of the Jedi? Many Bothan spies died to give us this information.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, those poor
but this was about A New Hope's Death Star, not the Return of the Jedi.
No, I know. I was just throwing that out. It was just like the idea, the realities of war.
Yeah, the realities of war. So sometimes you can't have all sunshine and butterflies, and you can't have all doom and gloom. There has to be a mix of that because you've got to stay balanced, right? Because at one point there's going to be we're all going to have to band together and fight whatever is happening.
Yeah.
And then there's another time where we're just going to have to, hey, you know what? It's time for us to enjoy life, and maybe the fact that you think that we should have this and I think we should have this politically, maybe we just ought to go have a barbecue, you know, and something from there. And I don't think that we're not getting that balance at all. We're getting a lesson. You know, I don't need this. I don't need your lesson. I don't need your moral lessons. I've lived long enough that I've seen these things.
God, Hollywood's the wrong place to be getting your moral lessons from, too.
Oh, exactly. And if they're taking direction from what's going on in Washington, neither one of those is a place where you want to get your morality from.
Yep.
But these people also don't live in the world close to the earth. Okay. They live in the city. And they live in a place where if they don't get food delivery in 3 days, they're going to have real serious problems from that. So there's a little bit that you want to scare people into saving for the rainy day. But there's also reality that kicks in. If there's an EMP, millions and millions of people, tens of millions of people in the U.S. are going to die.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it basically...
And then you're going to have to deal with that.
By the end of the book, like 80% of the population of the United States dies.
And but that's what's going to happen around the world.
Yeah.
Because if you look, the population exploded when oil became power, industrialization, and all of those happened. So it's reality. And we need to be reminded of that reality, that history of that, so that we don't go back to it. Because as you've said multiple times, we don't want to have it. So we don't want to deal with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And things
so when I get the Jizz Finish comment, he says, aha! So you lied to me about the book. No, I didn't. I told you I like the book. I still like the book. I just feel that the main character is a little too perfect.
We are allowed to criticize things and still like it.
We're allowed to criticize the things we like. Dude, seriously, I recommend the book. Check it out. But that's like the biggest problem with the book is that, like I said, the lead's a little too perfect. He's a bit of a Gary Stu.
I criticize things I love all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, and I really criticized Star Wars once George Lucas went back and fucked it all up.
Yeah. I legit had to stop reading the second book, not because I thought the book was bad, but I needed something a little more hopeful.
Said, yeah, the comics was sending me pictures of his face, you know, his head in his gas range, turning the stove on, and I'm like, no, stop reading the book. Stop reading the book.
Dude, because there's
so
parts
did you switch to Shad's book then?
Yeah, I switched to Shad's book. Oh my god! I mean, there's parts in it, dude. I'm like fucking done with this chapter, and I'm in tears, dude, because it's just like it's awful. Oh my god, it's just awful the shit that happens.
Yeah.
Like I'm not gonna go into details because I want people to read the book, but there's shit in there. It's just like, oh my god, this is so fucking sad.
But it's all true.
It's all true.
Yeah.
Well, it could happen.
Like I said, John's not a bad character. Like I said, he's a little too perfect. And the shit that happens to him, and he does make some mistakes. But like I said, he's just a little too perfect in my opinion. But the shit that happens with his family, oh my god, it's fucking heart-wrenching. Fucking heart-wrenching.
I'm not watching this or reading this now.
Oh, it's good though. It's a good book.
I'm me out.
But yeah, I had to switch to Shadow the Conqueror to give myself, like, legit. While I was reading this book, I was not falling asleep. Normally, when I read a book, I'll start falling asleep, and that's when I know to quit and I go to sleep. I will finish X number of chapters of 1 second after, and I'm like fucking wide awake. I'm like, this is not helping my inability to get
sleep read.
No, it's not.
Well, I can tell you, Lucifer is not something good to go to sleep to either. But hey,
yeah.
The Shadow the Conqueror, oh man, so good. Shad knows how to write a flawed protagonist, and technically, Dalen's a anti-hero, but it's really well done. There's, I think, a little areas where he gets. I'm not gonna say a little too long-winded with stuff. But when Dalen's kind of learning his powers, I'm not gonna say it drags. It drags on a bit longer than I felt it should.
It's a lot of math in those few parts.
Yeah. But other than that, I thought it was it's good. I think I'm on like chapter 17 or 18 right now.
I don't want to do homework when I read. That's messed up.
Well,
he does the homework for you. That's kind of what makes it drag there for a little bit.
Yeah.
Right.
But at least I have to say, for the most part, it's a book. He's doing show, don't tell, right? Mm-hmm. He's not telling, he's actually showing. And he's showing Dalen learning his abilities. And that is important to character development. But it just goes on a little longer than I feel like it should. But that's really my only criticism of the book so far. The book is great. Go buy it. Highly recommend it.
I really liked it. I thought he did a fantastic job, and he does a lot less. It drags a lot less to me than the other authors he's emulating, like Sanderson or Jordan. Jordan has a tendency to write down everything.
Is it faster than Goodkin?
I had no basis of comparison.
Goodkin and
I don't know. I think
Terry
Goodkind was pretty similar to Jordan back when they were coming out with the books.
Really?
They both over-described things.
So less Wheel of Time problems.
No,
less Wheel of Time's problems.
Okay. Oh, I'm gonna give it a shot. I've been thinking about it, and sounds like everybody here is digging it. And there's a link in the chat for it, so I'll check it out.
What are you talking about? Shad's book?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So I definitely backed the graphic novel that's coming out.
I did too.
So I definitely backed and got that. It is not the kind of fantasy book that I thoroughly enjoy reading. It was good. And these are the kind of books that I do the audiobook to. because I will lose interest after a certain amount of time. So the same thing with Robert Jordan, same thing with Terry Goodkind. It's just too much word salad for me to get in and do that stuff. I like people that are more, I have one of those, that are more direct and to the point with stuff. So,
well, speaking of
Kong,
things,
I think does very well with that.
Yes,
I think he does, and he does the lit RPG stuff.
I'm going back through his series right now.
Yeah, and he's got some others that books that he's written that are not lit, but some of the things. And I'm waiting for him to come back with a sequel, the next book in the Land series. But I like him. One of the authors that I really enjoy is Kel Cade. He did a King's Dark Tidings series, and it's a different kind of anti-hero. And I thoroughly enjoyed those books and thoroughly enjoyed the writing that he did. I've gotten into a couple of more of his books that he's done, but it's kind of I'm into those kind of up and coming authors like that. So Evan Curie's one that does military sci-fi that I really enjoy. He's got tons of books. He wrote one about an advanced Atlantis fighting demons. He's got books about space with one of the favorite ones I have is his Silver Wing series, which is about the main character is a female Marine. And he's got 9 books of it. It's one of his best-selling book sets. But he's done some stuff. He did one Superhuman where some gods are playing around and decide to give certain humans superpowers in present day, just right in the middle of that. And I thought that book set was really good. Something my sister read. So I get into those kind of authors. The ones that I've got 900 pages and I could probably get rid of 700 of them and still understand the story. Those are the ones that I have trouble getting through. And I would count those 3 in that. And Shad is very descriptive, but he's not on the level of Jordan, and he's not on the level of Goodkind.
I feel like Shad is descriptive enough.
Yes. You feel he's enough. I feel it's a little bit more, but I admit that I am a more simple reader when it comes to that.
I just, there are certain parts of some of the Goodkind stuff that I was like, and the Jordan stuff, I just was like, I'm out, but again, I mean, I like detail. I like quality writing, but sometimes it's just like, oh man, just finish a fucking,
I thought Terry
I don't need to know what kind of spices go into every meal. I mean, that's getting a little bit too much.
Yeah, that's kind of.
I don't care if you say you're having a piece of mutton. I don't need to know that it was cooked for this many hours with this flavoring over, these vegetables.
Yeah, and
that takes it a little far.
And then now I've got to keep track of whatever bullshit flavoring you came up with for this fucking piece of meat because it might be relevant later in this show.
Yeah, in 25 chapters from now, if you knew that the secret ingredient was saffron, you wouldn't have known this.
The one thing I have to admit, I love the banter between the 2 Archons in Shadow of the Conqueror.
Yes.
Oh my god,
yes, that is
fucking
good.
hilarious.
Reminds me a lot of Good Omens.
Yeah, Good Omens was the first season was well done.
I just love it how I can't remember the guy's name. He's like, "Are you trying to have sex with me?" The great thing about it is that it's cultural differences because you have the 2 Archons. One's female, and the other one essentially he's I'm totally blanking on where he's from, but basically I'm not gonna say it's like a Shad's equivalent of Africa. It's not because it's a different culture. But the whole thing is that he's a very attractive man. He's very fit, and he basically doesn't wear like a tunic under his armor, so his muscles are always showing. And so, the other character, which is the female Archon, she's kind of a bit of a nervous wreck, and so he doesn't understand like subtle facial expressions. So whenever she gives him a look, his assumption is that she's trying to have sex with him. And it's absolutely hilarious. Oh my God. It's fucking great.
Yeah, I can't say anything if you haven't finished the book.
Yeah. Yeah.
They end up having sex with everyone at the end and kind of eyes wide shut kind of stuff.
Okay.
That's how that kind of turns out.
Well,
Just
I
let you
kind of
know.
figured either they both die at some point or they end up hooking up.
Everybody dies
When Harry met Sally.
Yeah. So
when comics met culture.
Stop.
But it is a very good book. Hey, Toxic, did you see the news based on one of the
Good,
book
send me that
series
one.
you do like? Did you see that they're doing the what is it, the Sisterhood, the Benny Gesserit Sisterhood show?
Yeah, they're gonna do the
I was
sisterhood
like,
one. Yeah.
I thought you guys were talking about the Sisterhood of Traveling Pants. I was going to reveal a
No,
lot.
I just know he does like Dune, so
Yeah, I do like the Dune series. And go to the. I was not a big fan of the ending of the book and how all that Herbert and left it. I'm not a big fan of that. Not a big fan of how Brian and what he picked up and how he went on from there. But
Wow, the memes tonight are strong.
yes, yes.
Oh my god! Wow.
That is that
God.
is pretty bad.
Oh,
that needed a bush behind it with Mad in
it
it.
did.
It
Yeah,
did. I did- I would- yeah,
Matt Mardigan needed
Mad
to be
was holding
standing
me
behind
up.
a bush. Yeah, well, there
Mad's holding me up.
Oh yeah. Me Tarzan, me like boobs.
True.
Fact.
Fun fact.
Fun fact.
Yeah, we've got a lot of memes tonight that are really, really good.
Oh,
I'm
you
trying
guys
to
are
bookmark all of
crushing
them.
it. I'm like, good God.
Did you
this
see Dick's Legal?
I did.
I saw
I'm
Dick's Legal.
dying
That was
right
great.
now.
Yeah, we're getting close to
it's-
time too. I mean, we're at
Yeah, we
11.
are.
It's so
We might as well do the
strong.
meme review.
Yeah, well, let's go ahead and do that. We'll do the meme review. Well, actually, hang on. Before the meme review, let me finish getting through comments. So you have this one talks.
Oh, yeah.
You guys may laugh, but I listen to the old time radio shows all the time. Some of the great sci-fi, mystery, detective, etc. I don't see anything
Yes.
wrong with that. I mean, that's cool, dude.
Yeah, I do.
Toxic Culture listened to them when they first aired.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I do a lot of that. There's actually a YouTube channel that does the old time radio stuff, and they had a Shadow series. They had some of the Sherlock Holmes stuff on radio. There's a rich story set from radio that they had recorded on things that we haven't remembered. We don't have anymore. The Shadow was a horrible movie,
The Shadow knows.
but the Shadow knows.
He
He's a
didn't
great
shoot
character.
anybody in that movie, though.
No, he didn't. Not anybody in real life.
There's,
He
there's
did,
yeah.
however,
The
stabbed
Shadow
somebody in
versus
the head.
Batman was actually a pretty good series.
and
Yeah, there and there's a lot of good comedy and there's a lot of good drama shows. Perry Mason came out of the radio stuff that became a television show. A lot of those things from there. But there's a YouTube channel that does that. I'll see if I can remember it and bring it up. Doomcock has shouted it out once with somebody who's done that. But sorry, go ahead, Captain
All
Spire.
right. Captain Spire for $5. I'm seeing a trend. Old heroes freed populations from evil control. Kirk, now those heroes are blamed for the bad choices those freed people made. Yeah, I don't think you're wrong. I think the other thing, too, is that I think the powers that be don't like the idea of heroes saving people or freeing people because the powers that be want to keep the people enslaved. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah,
Right.
that of all the things that we've seen, that is a definite theme. Out there.
yeah,
They want to keep us enslaved.
yeah. Actually, that's what the people that they elevate are the people who are engaged in enslaving people. So yeah, you're right. Well done.
Dude, I'm so sorry. I don't know how to say her name. I know we've
The
interacted.
Mirrorsphere's origins.
The Mirrorsphere Origins. Okay, thank you for.
Yeah.
Now I can actually pronounce it. For $10, criticism is so important for improvement. Why I wanting on eggshell? Oh, I'm waiting on eggshells for reviews to my books so I can see what I did right and wrong for my second book, which is starting soon. Yeah, I get that. That's one thing I know Shad is doing is that he's doing a second printing of his book, and he's going to be doing some revisions.
Right.
He mentioned changing the origins of Imperius the Sword, which I don't think he should do. I think he should keep it. I like.
No.
It's a
Well,
pretty
he
key component
should
to the
keep the what
story.
he's
Yeah,
got.
it's basically he's changing the components of what it's made from, and I honestly think he should keep it.
Dude, don't. If you have established canon, everything's fleshed out around it. Don't.
I'm going to tell that to him tomorrow.
Well,
Unless he wrote
Mirror
himself
Sphere's
into a
book.
corner of some kind, he shouldn't need to change it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've got Mirror Sphere's book, and it's something that I've dedicated. I'm going to read, and then I'll discuss it. And we were going to. He's somebody in the fellowship, and we were going to go through that. So that's something that I have on my list to do. And I know where he is. He's looking to get some feedback from that.
And he deserves it. And he deserves it. You know, and it's available in a lot of places, I believe, including Amazon. So
it's on Amazon. Yeah,
and I guarantee
I'll go look it up real quick.
Yeah, there it is.
Book is no minor undertaking.
That's a good book right there.
Eric K for $5. Basically, it's a link to Kai's book, Space Crime
Guys in the
Domino.
chat.
Get the great book from our own Kai MFS here on Amazon, Space Crime Domino. Yeah.
Yep. And I'm actually in the process of getting a commitment from the boss to do the interview book report that we're going to do all for his book. So you'll get a review from both of us, although I'll be asking questions the entire time. Look, these are people I want to support. They're more than my friends. They are people who are independently creating entertainment that you should be consuming. Space Crime Domino and the Mirror Sphere's Origin, totally worth your time.
All right, let's get to the meme reviews.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Watch which.
I'm sorry, I accidentally clicked that.
That was a good statement, though.
Watch which information you are not allowed to question. Those
are the
lies being protected. Oh God, tell me about it, dude. That's like legit. Like
it's like
all of 2022.
Well, conspiracy.
I'll say all of 2020 through 2022 regarding the coup.
Yeah, it's like conspiracy is confirmed 3 months later. Conspiracy is confirmed 1 month later. You know, it's like it's excessive.
It is, and you didn't need to super chat this, Eric, at all.
Yeah,
but thank you, bro.
So there's
Origins: The Dark Rises. It's not only on Amazon. He's got it on multiple.
Yeah. Oh, there's multiple places.
Kabuto and other places you can get it. So if you,
I think it's on Goodreads too.
Yeah, I think it's on Goodreads. So if you want to give the finger to Amazon and do something else and get something from there, that's the way to go. Yeah.
It's worth it, kids. It's a good book. It's a little well, if you like that kind of dark kind of a book.
It's Heron of Alexandria.
Yes, Heron is here. What's up, Heron? Now I don't need to type it out. I'll just say hi, Heron.
Yeah,
she was at dinner.
Oh, I like dinner. Oh wait, I had dinner. I had a nice dinner.
You had dinner?
Was she dipping her grilled cheese in ketchup?
Ketchup?
Oh man,
I had Chick-fil-A.
Did you dip it in ketchup?
I had steak tonight.
So did I.
A hamburger from Muggs Pizza. So there you go.
Wait a minute. You went to a pizza joint for a hamburger
and had a
hamburger? Oh yeah, it's a good burger. So
that's the fucked up shit right here.
Oh no. Darius. Okay.
Darius Munchesson for $5. What do TMF and a reuse hygiene product have in common? They're both toxic and shocking.
Oh my!
Nice. Hey.
Darius, rare form tonight, bro. Well done.
Nice done. That's well done.
Yeah.
All right.
That's a bad self-insert right there.
Oh, Heron had cheese enchiladas.
Cheese enchiladas. Oh,
I had cheese enchiladas the other day for lunch.
Enchiladas is very good. Very good.
All right, on to the memes, good sir.
To the memes. All right, so I got smart and bookmarked these this time.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
So there's comics with Drew's dong, apparently.
Good.
Right there. So,
Lord.
Yeah, that's Sherry.
Wow.
Yeah, doing real well, Sherry. I like that.
She said this is a normal size hot dog.
Oh no!
Did you see the caption?
Oh my God.
That's the joke
there. What's funny is Comix is holding that giant hot dog in what looks like a storage facility.
Well, no, that's
cradling his wiener in a private place.
Actually, that's just one of Andy Masterson's dioramas that Comix.
That's what it is. Of course, there's this.
I love that one so much.
All right, yeah, and there are just some things you don't want to see. And that man's balls looking like elbows hanging down from his crack. It's one of those. All right.
What now?
Sorry. And there's Comix Hulk right there.
That's He Hulk. Thank you very much.
He Hulk.
They Hulk. I am They
Magic Poop
Hulk.
doing it again.
Dude, bro.
Your boobs are off. There, comics. Maybe you need to start working on the left side of your chest.
And do something with that. Like,
Fill that out.
Yeah, or get the plastic surgeon to fix it.
There we go.
Dexidoodle.
Dun, 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 dun. Oh wait, no, that's not it. That's the other thing.
Comics looks in the back like I'm going to finally
Law and Order.
put a shiv in this
Candace
libtard's
Bergen.
back. Yeah, back. Thunk. He's gone.
Yeah, God, she is a crazy leftist.
Well, they get old.
Most of them are.
I have great hair, by the way.
Seriously, tell me about it.
That's
Three dicks.
3 dicks.
Oh.
Yeah.
3 dicks and a germ.
Yeah, love it. Looking good. Look at that. I am handsome motherfucker.
You are. To
A serious
blind people
monster
everywhere.
did some excellent work last night for us for some future
yes.
projects.
Oh my god. The
That
full
is
smoke.
rough.
Holy shit.
Nice,
Wow.
nice ones there.
That is rough. And those are
That is bad.
some very strange nipples, bro.
Core members. Yeah.
Wow.
And of course, there's
Me
comics
Tarzan.
liking
Me
him
like
Tarzan. This is
Oh no.
Well, you see, the thing is, core member got it backwards. I'm the one who sent the butt plug to Tox.
right. Used.
Yeah.
Not as funny that way.
What the gallon of anal use. Yeah.
Anals, yeah.
I don't think I shared audio, so maybe I'll do that. There's Robin Hood, Dicks and Tights.
Still funny.
That's still good. Love that one.
What is that? What is that? Okay, we saw these. There we go.
Yeah, I'll reshare some of these.
Yeah, there are people here that haven't seen some of these. This is amazing.
Yes,
Wait, was that Mad? Who is that? Who's the ball?
That was Brahma. That was Brahma there. So hold on just a second. Let
Where?
me
you're
stop that.
you're gonna pull out and share audio.
He's
Yeah,
gonna
I'm gonna
share the audios.
share the audios. There we go.
You are a professional YouTuber.
No, I'm not actually.
Yes,
So-
Heron, that's the infamous butt plug that they were talking about
You are
for
a
an hour and a
professional
half yesterday.
No, I'm not.
Yes,
No.
Heron,
That
that's
was
the
a
infamous
rainbow
butt plug
dong
that they were
sucker.
talking about
Wow,
for
somebody
an hour and a
has-
half
why am
yesterday.
I
Yeah, we got the
echoing?
echo.
Why do we-
We're hearing ourselves.
That was a rainbow.
It's the
dong
sharing.
sucker.
Mute ourselves.
Wow, somebody has. Why am I?
We're hearing ourselves.
Can you hear that?
It's the sharing. Mute ourselves.
Wow, somebody has. Why am I?
Oh, I know why. Can you hear that?
It's the sharing. Mute ourselves.
Oh, I know why.
It's like Inception. It's like Inception.
Sorry, I finished. It's all right, I'll take care of that. Sorry, I finished.
Maybe you should stop sharing the audio.
Sorry, I finished.
Yeah, that was weird. Inception.
That was like 30 levels of us.
Yeah, it really was. It was kind of weird, man.
That's the best.
But it just
feeling.
kept getting quieter and quieter and quieter. That was the weird part. It never stayed at the full volume.
Yeah.
I didn't hear it. So
The mysteries of StreamYards.
Hello.
But the issue is
It's
wow,
still
what
going.
the fuck. Now I hear it still.
We
Yeah, I
really
turned it
broke it.
off.
Hello.
Yeah. But the issue is Tox broke it.
I broke everything.
Oh my god.
Because we're still echoing on our current talk too.
Tox broke it.
That's because I've got to turn off
YouTube.
We're still echoing on our
YouTube.
current talk too.
That's because I've got to turn.
There we go.
Yep.
Yay.
So because in order for these to play, I've got to put them through the Elgato Wave. And to do that, I've got to have the main system
Right.
run through that.
Your
So-
default audio.
Yeah, the default audio and all that stuff. And there are just certain things you don't want to see. Like,
Yes.
yes. So here we go. Here's one.
I want to see the sausage being made. That's for sure.
Yeah, sorry
Nobody
about that.
wants
Yeah.
to see the sausage being
My
made.
fingers hurt. What's that? My
The-
His
fingers
mouth
hurt.
is moving with it.
Great, we
I was
can't
like,
see
what
it.
the fuck? My fingers hurt.
This is all.
fingers hurt? I didn't think so.
What the fuck?
fingers hurt.
Okay, it's the clip
Fingers hurt.
that he has
from
backstage.
Waterboy, isn't it?
Yeah. It's from Happy Gilmore.
Okay.
Happy Gilmore. Yeah.
My fingers hurt, and then because it's what's his name?
Yeah, Zoolander.
He's in the nursing home. He's making them all make quilts. This is the one I'm curious about what that is.
It would be awesome if we could see it.
We can't see anything.
No, you're
just
not
so
sharing
you know.
anything at the moment.
Oh, really?
No.
You just did audio through your avatar.
Yeah, that was amazing. We watched your avatar mouth all that stuff a minute.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it was really cool. What am I doing exactly?
What are you doing to these eggs culture?
Well, I'm apparently shaking my ass.
Apparently.
Lizzoing it up.
Yeah, dude. Yes, I am the Lizzo of the, but it was slightly less weight.
That was all that we saw.
We did have another twerking scene in She-Hulk tonight too.
Yes, we did, and a thong.
Yes.
So apparently this is
Oh
supposed to be Brahma.
yeah. That's right. I forgot about that. Block that
This
out
is
of my
me?
memory.
Supposedly.
You have no problem with the fact that your father is a woman. Just let me do, you know, I want to be here. You'll never find anyone who loves you as much as she does.
Speak now or forever hold your peace.
Yeah, because she's a bitch. You have no problem with the fact.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
I don't know what that's
this
from.
is American Horror Story Hotel. It's one of the best ones of the anthology of American Horror Story. Lady Gaga's in it. She does a good job. I'm not sure if she's playing at Lady Gaga or not. What is this?
I don't know, but comics went, oh.
Okay, you gotta find the one from Magic Proof that he just did. It's fucking hilarious.
That is bonkers. What is that?
I don't know what movie it is.
You guys are making fun of me because of eggs. I don't even. Okay.
I didn't do anything because your eggs. This is one where comics is there, and then we get into the. Oh, this was good.
Oh no.
Yeah, that's comics celebrating the end of She-Hulk.
What?
That was one of the fluff ones, wasn't it?
Oh,
Yeah.
is that a fluffy?
Yeah, it is.
The Harvey the Rabbit.
Oh, KJ says it's the Crows.
It's the
Oh, the Krogs.
I'm not gay no more. I am delivered. I don't like men no more. I said I like women. Women. I said women. I'm not gay. I would not date a man. I would not carry a purse. I would not put on makeup. Has set you free.
Is that because I like almond joys?
Yeah,
Most
that's,
likely.
yeah, probably. Yeah.
Wow.
But
And
that's
then-
like, I mean, Madonna made that same announcement, only completely reversed just a couple days ago.
She is completely.
Did it like 5 times. Do it.
Not relevant.
Milkshake brings all the boys to the yard and they're like, it's better than yours. Damn right. It's better than yours. I
Look at
can teach
Brandon.
you, but I have to. Do it again, Griffin. Oh, come on. I just
I'm
did
glad I stayed stoic throughout it in the video.
You saw that one. This is great. I love
That's
this one.
fucking great.
It's one of the best ones.
And then,
Yep.
yeah, you're gonna get
That one
close
was
to it.
right.
And people were going through.
People
it.
weren't
not
happy
like
with
that
that.
one.
Hey, there's some bull's milk.
Hey, bull milk.
Every
We
morning,
don't have a
and
cow.
that's it.
We have
Done. $100 for a 1 month jug. Additional jugs, only $65 a pop. And I make nothing. Zero. Zilch. By the time I pay all my scientists, all my people in my research department, lab coats, it's a wash. Well, why you do it then, baby Billy? Well, because I'm selfless. And I want to heal as many people as the dear Lord lets me. Drink this tasty coconut soakiness every morning.
That one made me fucking laugh.
Oh no. Oh, you
That
guys.
is, yeah, that's a classic. And the look, and you look, your face almost fits perfectly into.
It
the
does.
pina
I
colada
look
glass.
Into the
fucking
shape of the
retarded.
glass.
Yeah, you
Real
look great.
cream of the coconut.
This is one of my favorites. But
I didn't
yeah.
see this one yet.
This was culture getting ready to warm up for the show. So, and then
It's accurate.
Wow.
This is the one that got a lot of play for this. So that's where a lot of the
because I like
coconut
almond joy.
Yes.
That
Coconuts.
is rough, bro. Wow.
Yeah, because
I
one
still
of the
don't
memers
get
did
the
that
almond joy
lesson.
hate. I really don't.
Yeah. I don't either. It's an okay candy bar. It's all right.
I mean, it's not.
Only
It's
if you
not
like
the-
coconut.
Well, as I was explaining earlier, it's like it's the only thing with coconuts that I actually like. So
Let me find that next one. Which one was it? Oh my God. I got that one. So I've got a black and white one. Yeah. Okay.
yeah, it's the one from Magic Poop.
Got it.
Oh, it's fucking funny.
It's that's classic right there.
It is classic.
Look at that. Listen to radio.
He looks so pissed. Talks.
It's just a constant state for me these days.
I have good headset though.
You give good head? Is that what you said?
No, I have a good headset.
Oh,
I thought he said he gives good headset.
I didn't know.
that's
I did
what
not
I
say
thought
that.
I heard too.
No,
I heard
you
it.
didn't.
Your headset has lots of humming.
No, I have like
hummers.
antennas on it.
These are antennas. Yeah, right there. Those are nice. And it just Magic Poop. It just has clip art, I guess, just sitting on his desktop to drop this stuff on. It's hilarious.
It's amazing.
Probably.
Yeah. And
feel very
that's it. That's
The
it.
best
That was good.
memers always come prepared.
They do.
Thank you, Legion. Great
The
job.
Legion is amazing. You
Yeah,
are
I
amazing.
I need to put the Legion in the credits at some point.
Yeah, we
There
should
you
credit them with being
Put 'em in
Legion.
the crack.
They are Legion. And not only that, they have a channel. They have a merch store. They have stuff. Check out.
We did their first live stream on Saturday.
Yeah, check out.
Here we go. Yeah,
Check,
we've got it
there
right
it
there.
is. Yeah, there's a banner and everything.
Search
Also,
it.
before I forget, let me check Oddity.
Oddity?
Odyssey. God, I'm
Oddities.
fucking sorry. I'm going to bed after this. Let me
Why,
check
thank you.
Odyssey for
Apparently,
tips.
I'll be outside watching.
Yeah, apparently you will. Okay, let me see here. So Radicalized Ryan for $5 with the Odyssey coin. Shooting through the sky. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Radicalized, right?
Thank you.
Thank you, Radicalized Ryan.
Still a cool avatar, by the way, bro.
Yep, it is. All right. Well, I think that
You
pretty
check
much
Odyssey
wraps
again.
Oh, why?
What happened now?
You might want to check.
Kiss My Ass for $25 from Toxic Man Flu. I've seen your ass. No, I'm not kissing it.
Wait a minute.
And the story of where that was seen will be for another day. Yes,
Yeah.
culture.
What?
Yeah.
Well, okay. So Tox got really drunk and started banging on my door when we were in Vegas. It was like 3 a.m. You know, his wife was already
Naked as a
asleep.
jaybird.
Yeah, naked
That
as a
checks out.
jaybird. Yeah. Like I said, never want to see that again. It's gross.
You opened the door.
You raised your hand.
Well,
No, you intentionally
that's
raised
what
your
I
hand.
get for being woken up at 3 a.m. I don't necessarily think about these things. I just answered the door. You were right.
You
It's
just
my fault.
you just opened the door and let him
What the
waltz
fuck
in.
do you want? Jesus Christ. Oh my God. Go away.
I had an idea for the show.
Put some
I
clothes
was
on.
mid thrust and I figured I better come over here.
There's a peephole.
You don't think about these things when you wake up at 3 a.m. Culture. Just letting you know.
You're just asking to get assassinated.
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 Assassinated? What?
Comix is now a political leader.
He's the leader of the retarded party.
Oh, that was the best pun I've ever
Hi,
done.
I'm Comix Division, and
We
I am
must
the leader
take
of
out
the
the Dix
retarded
Division.
party.
The best pun I've ever done in my
Because
life.
in 2020, you are exactly the opposite of what you say you are. Like the Inflation Reduction Act.
We're gonna make
It's not designed to
more.
reduce inflation. It's designed to cause it.
God, J.A.F.O.
All right, let me get this.
Did you read
Inflation
it?
went from non-existent to transitory to just an inch of inflation to there's a little bit to don't vote Republican or inflation's going to go crazy.
Yeah. So
They're
Biden
insane.
used the I'll just put the tip of it in defense or argument to try and get voters. So
J.A.F.O for $4.99. Just want to be clear. So what I learned is that Culture Casino is a democratic socialist Marxist who gives good headset. Cool, great show.
Yeah, it's a pretty good summary of the show. Yeah,
it is. On that note, hi, Culture.
Hi, everybody.
Oh my God, the cock.
Well, that and also on Culture Casino. I have a YouTube channel. I have an Odyssey channel. I have a Rumble channel. Rumble. I want to grow Rumble. I really do. I'm going to do a solo stream over on Rumble soon. And I have Odyssey, obviously. Odyssey's awesome. And I have a Twitters and a Minds and a Getter and what's the other thing I got? A Parlor. I got stuff. So if you look up this name, decent chance it's me. And if it, I mean, you know, and if it's got videos with me on it, it's probably also me. Yeah, and I have a gaming channel now too, and Cultured Builds, which I'm actually going to be making content for tomorrow, so that'll be fun. It won't be out tomorrow, but I'll be making content for it. That's very confusing. Not as confusing as She-Hulk, but I had a great time tonight. I want to say thanks to all of you who showed up and paid attention to our meaningless ramblings, mostly, you know, comics. Yeah. I don't know what else to say. Check out all these amazing people on this panel, Legion of Memers as well, and everybody else in this chat that is amazing, who have channels and also do stuff. Was any of that a promotion?
I think so.
I think so.
When you put
so.
you put your videos on Rumble because they're put people to sleep, is it just ruh at that point?
Well, what's interesting about the Rumble thing is that well, I have almost 2,000 videos over there, and nobody's really watched any of them. So
go over and watch Culture Casino.
I feel sad.
You can do live streams over there, right? Because you have enough followers.
Yeah. I have enough human beings that pretended to be interested in what I was doing over there. Yes.
Okay. Cool. So that's good. Live stream over there. We'll figure that out.
Yeah, I'll figure out how to do it over there. That didn't sound good. I'll figure out a live stream over there. That's like one of my things for the weekend, so I can actually do a stream.
Trick: get drunk and go knock on Comix' door at 3 a.m. He'll open it for any reason.
That's good.
Don't
tip.
tell Mad.
Yeah, don't tell Mad.
It's a secret.
It's yes. Don't tell Mad.
I crap it. Making up shit on the fly. I clearly didn't think that story through all the way. Why did you say
that? It's in the lore now. We're not changing it, just like Shad shouldn't change his.
So magic poop, though, is...
Oh,
God, where the fuck did he find that image?
I don't know. I feel like this is like
he's got like some dark web Google search or something like that.
That's a fucked up shit right here.
It may be a selfie.
Oh,
a security camera selfie.
I walked outside.
Security cam selfie. I got to go out in the hallway real quick and capture a picture so I can do a meme.
Yeah, what's going on? Yeah. Yeah, that image did.
Nothing to see here.
God damn,
nothing going on. Damn, that was quick.
You guys are unbelievable.
That's just, yeah, I'm bookmarking that shit. That's good. Awesome.
Tonight was a fun night. I'm
from
curious.
Naked Men in the Hallways to Brahmabull.
Yeah, I'm curious. Do you guys like we've kind of gone to one night on each show per month? I think that we're not doing guests. Do you guys like this? We're just talking. I am going to post my Rumble in there. I would appreciate it if people could sub to me over there because I would much prefer to do some stuff over there than everything over here. I am 2 subs away from 250 on YouTube. So if anybody hasn't and they would like to, go hit that button. I'd like to thank 70s rock fan Eric K and Just Another Redshirt. You guys did a fantastic job in the mod role as usual. And yeah, chat, you've been great. Legion of Memers, you're fantastic. Comix, thank you for having me. And great to talk with you guys. It's always fun.
Thank you, sir.
We need to find a name for our mods. The hand jobs.
Oh God, no! Jesus Christ!
Milkers.
Okay.
We call them
the
the
milkers.
milkers.
The milkers. The pecker slappers.
No, that didn't sound good.
No, that doesn't sound good. Okay, all right. So we won't do that.
What's the bands you put around the bull's huevos?
That's just called a banding
bands?
tool. Just a banding tool. Yeah. That you're used to clump that on, so that thing. We
Or we
call
can
them
or we can just call them mods because that makes more sense.
steers. Okay. I don't know.
The wrenches for our pipe works.
Division's dicks.
That's
Call them the plumbers. They're the plumbers. I like it.
The chat plumbers.
The chat plumbers.
Oh Jesus Christ.
So we are going to have Carrie Smith on Monday with us here on Yelling Apart Cars. And then Sporking's going to be joining us next week on the 20th. Now, Sporking's going to be having a Sporkathon on Saturday from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m., I think, Eastern. And Mad's going to be helping with that. Culture's going to be helping with that. Sporking has lost his monetization because of some funkiness with some shorts or something that happened. With some content strikes or something. Copyright strikes? Not 100% sure. But go over there and do, if you can, give a little bit to Scott so that he can get down to Orlando and see everybody down there. And it's basically the money he was going to earn from the super chats and stuff. Because he can't get super chats, right?
Nope.
No.
Correct.
So
and his channel memberships got nuked as well. So.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, he got sacked because he made shorts. They make shorts. Now we're going to kick in the sack.
Yeah.
I believe it's a 30-day sacking too.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's not permanent. But I mean,
no,
it
he
came at
has
the wrong
to
time.
reapply. He has to reapply.
He has to
after 3
reapply.
days.
It's like what happened with Josiah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, Terma says if you get Kamala on next Monday, have a special flavor.
Oh my!
Oh my!
Well, Brahmabull does have a Kamala Harris Halloween costume he's been talking about wearing.
What now?
But, whatever. If he can
That
pull
is
off
not
the
what
high
I said
heels.
I'm going as.
Oh, sorry.
I've got a much dumber Democrat in mind.
Is it the guy that's running against Dr. Phil? Or not Dr. Phil, but Dr. Oz?
Fetterman.
Well, way to give it away.
It's
Yes.
Fetterman? Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
I'm
going as that
I'll strap a
dead-
grapefruit to my neck and wear a hoodie and just have half of my neck sticking out the side.
Oh.
And then I won't be able to understand you guys most of the night because I'll have to read the closed captioning 10 seconds after you say it before I can answer. So should be an interesting Halloween night.
Okay, so what Bush is saying is that he didn't make his short videos transform enough, so he got copyright hits from House of the Dragon HBO and was flagged.
Yep. Oh yeah, the HBO will smack you about.
No, there you go.
True.
Well, he's got to be original content about what he's saying about it, and his
You have to
commentary and
transform it in some way.
Yeah,
right. The stuff that like
He didn't
Grand
even
Aesthetics
appear
uses
on
was-
the screen.
Yeah. Oh, he didn't.
You can.
Oh,
You can
I don't
do
think
it,
so.
You can do it by having like splitting something into it. You kind of like how I've been doing with the Joe Biden stuff on the other channel. You know, I have another one coming out.
But I mean, the stuff from Biden and Harris and all those, the political stuff, that's all public record. You grab that and do whatever.
Pretty much.
But
Sure.
HBO and Sony and those kind of people whack it pretty good. You just got to watch the music you use. So if you use the music that YouTube has, you should be all right.
Or use something that's royalty free from like
create your own music and
or you
your
can do
own
that, too.
dialogue and give them
some of us
finger
are
keys.
not talented, obviously.
What's happening now?
I am not talented.
Yes, you are.
Anyway,
I can write
folks,
comedy.
thank you so much for hanging out with us. I know it was a slow show tonight. It was very chill.
Slow?
Well, I thought it was chill.
Long and
I thought we had a
arduous.
nice chat.
You know what
Yeah, I
it
thought
was?
so, too.
Nobody talked over each other.
That is true. That is good.
We made
Or
but
when
no,
we did, we were
it was
kind
different than
enough.
usual. So that's I'm just throwing that out there. I guess I have no idea.
Well,
Anyway,
it's one of the reasons why we don't want to have a guest on every single time. We want to sit there and
right.
talk.
Sometimes
about things
it's just good to chill out and just talk about stuff.
Well,
Didn't have a whole lot of
needed the
topics.
support group after She-Hulk was over.
Oh God, tell me about it.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to go pound a fifth of Jack. because of She-Hulk. No, I'm kidding. I'm not.
Pound
I
it.
just want to say thank you.
Bull-named
Tots,
Jack.
if you guys can go and drop the link for current year with Ian K. That's why I renamed it, because I figured pop culture prepping and politics was a little too long.
Pop culture frapping in politics? Yeah, that's a little bit too long.
Pop culture fapping and politics.
And I think 5th of Jack is a really weird name for your lover, but all right, bro.
Well, that
no.
That's just
not
not
Fifth
that
of
much Jack.
That's a bull named Jack. Is what
Oh,
he said.
he was going to pound a 5th of Jack. I'm like, that's a weird name for your lover. I'm just
Alcohol culture. It's alcohol.
Oh.
So I can kill myself.
Oh.
Pretty small amount of alcohol.
I know.
What are you gonna? So it's like smash Jack. What are you doing now?
What?
1 second.
Shut up and sit down, you big bald fuck.
They really
He has
ruined.
hair.
They really ruined Daredevil.
Yes.
Okay.
They did.
Yeah, they did. But
No,
you know
we are
what?
not going over to Odyssey tonight.
We're not going to Odyssey tonight. We really don't have anything controversial to talk about that. It's
No,
not
well,
YouTube.
we do.
Plus, it's
but
almost
we're not
midnight.
gonna.
Yeah.
And
Though
we're
there
old
is one
people.
good thing. Sorry, go
What?
ahead. There's one good thing that came out of She-Hulk.
Oh my God, the cock.
That's the one good thing that came out of that.
That is true.
Oh God.
Mm-hmm.
That's
So
funny.
remember,
And then, as always, restopping that groin.
there we
The
go.
slight bell ringing sound in the background of that clip always makes me think that like my phone's going off or something.
Going off.
I never remember that it's in that clip.
Well, that was loads of fun. I actually thought it was a good show. I thought we.
I thought so too. I thought we had a lot of fun. Thank you, everyone.
25 to 30 over on Odyssey.
Oh yeah, we did. We had
we had a good time.
We had a good number of people. We still have 22 hanging out over there right now.
Thank you guys.
And we still have 128 over here. We're wrapping up. Thanks everyone, as always. Seriously, you guys are fantastic. The memes, oh my God, you guys killed it tonight. Legion of Memers, you guys are fucking fantastic. Thank you to everyone who has super chatted, and thank you to those who support me on Patreon. Please, if you have not gone and subscribed over
on
to
Patreon, subscribe star.
Sorry,
Odyssey, Rumble,
Rumble.
Well, that too. But if it's like I'm Joe Biden and everything tonight,
You're just tired.
I am fucking tired. If you have not subscribed to Current Year with Ian K, check it out. I'm mainly just doing shorts there. Eventually, I might drop some more political content there, but we'll see.
Mrs. Flu and I are going to start doing a few things, so
that's good.
I think I'm 118 subscribed to the Toxic Lamsuit channel on YouTube.
Yeah,
I need to get to like 200 or something so I can start doing stuff on Odyssey and Rumble and getting out of there. So,
yeah,
that's a good idea.
But
anyway,
I'm excited for the flus.
The flus. Would they be called the floozies?
Meet the flukers?
No.
Meet the floozies. Anyway, you can catch me tomorrow on Friday Night Tights, and of course back here on Monday for Yelling at Parked Cars, and of course we'll be back here Thursday. God help me, I'm gonna do my final She-Hulk review. Ugh. I think it's gonna be a highlight reel of all the misogyny in the show.
Just do the best 10 seconds of it. It's still, just the end credits.
Yeah, this is gonna be the end. Hey, I'm gonna show you the only thing that has no misogyny. It's just the end credits.
Wait,
good
I
night,
can
folks.
fix that.
Good night.
Yeah, remember, don't wash your hands because germs are good for building immunity.
Oh,
What?
We're
No,
not
that's how you get
doctors. Wash your
hepatitis,
hands
bro.
before
What
you
do you-
touch your face.
Yeah.
Q comics, cue me.
Thanks for watching. Make sure to like, share, and comment, and subscribe if you're new to the channel. A huge thanks to all the Subscribe Star supporters. Without you, Comix Division would probably be hoeing on a corner somewhere. Dark Brahmadeus, Elagabalus, Reuben Christopher Haynes, and Toxic Man Flu. Well, hello there, big spender. iMav, HMStix, and Roger the Shrubber. I'm a sucker with a lot of dough. 5 picoseconds, Crazy Catguy, DJ.O, and Zelashi. Take my money, damn it. AJ Speaks, Billy Go Boom, Brahmabull, Chris from the 80s, Commander Ed STRAKER of Shadow, DariusM, Dethangels Shadow, Dexidoodle, Digital Remnant, E. Clay, Gentleman Mad, J.A.F.O, JoesAtmosfere, Just Another Redshirt, Katina Martin, LDH27513, LDBlues, Mech AG94, Mr. Tickletrunk, No Green Rocks, Pete Bickford, Pope Metallicus I, That 70s Rock Fan, Terminus S, TZ Burton, user number 710C9719, user number 1021029A, and user number C32A7350. I'll buy that for $1. Captain Fandom Nerd, Colin Douglas, Jenna Lynn, Magitech Mags, Stand 4, and user C2B7C4F4. Thank you all for watching. You are amazing.
Tox, do us all a favor and put your clothes back on.